What's up, and welcome back to the channel. You are listening to Ninja Night. This is Chatterbox number 21 back here on Friday night. Thank you for spending this Friday night with me. I very much appreciate it. I can see so many people in the chat already. And to everybody that also checks in after the recording, I highly appreciate that. I think it's great to see so many people hungry in this country, particularly because obviously you talk about things that are going on in the wider world also. But I think what's very important is that this country is hungry for the truth, and it's getting even more and more out there where you're talking to normies and these people are starting to wake up to what's going on. You're seeing it in all of the comment sections because that's how you affect things. You affect things by posting comments in the likes of the mainstream news when they put things out, and indeed then when you are talking to these people on the street. And I've seen more and more people now posting videos. This citizen journalism stuff is absolutely wonderful to see. There's people now that are calling politicians when they see them and saying to them what they think. I think it's fantastic. And also then it's great telling a politician and these people in the mainstream media what you think of them. But what's also highly important is that you're talking to other people, and in particular normies. I keep saying it and I'll always say it. These people that are on the left, they are always going to follow what they're going to follow. There's no changing their minds. These are people that would have bowed down to Oliver Cromwell, no problem at all. So forget about them. You're not going to change those people's minds. No point. Don't even attempt it. And even instead of getting into a dialogue with them, just say, no, I'm not interested in that, or yeah, sure. That's what you're starting to see now, by the way, just so you know, that you've got people that are in sitting positions that are supposed to be representing the public, who are being asked questions by the public respectfully and peacefully. And these people in these positions have decided to block individuals. Now, what I think you should be doing, and indeed it's something that I would also say is a good idea, is that when you have people that are commenting at you, like, for example, the left, where you're never going to change their minds, to me, it's no problem when you get short of them commenting towards you, because those people, you see, the difference is, and I keep saying it, difference between us and them is that they make a living off of people on this side of what we say. Those people, on the other hand, are really aware at this stage of the game that people are looking to get into their positions of the likes of councillors and TDs. That's where you've got to go. That's very important. We are also seeing this week and what we've seen last week, because obviously, just to let you know at the start of the show what went on last week. Last week, this machine that I'm using, you have to basically build it with coal. You had to put coal into the back of it like a furnace. You had to put it in there to make sure it boots up. Anyway, to cut a long story short, what had happened was there was a software update and it was just unavoidable and it was taking hours. And I said, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to call it a day on the stream. So I'm looking into a new machine, just so you know, just to keep you aware about that, so that it'll be speedier and it'll process stuff a lot quicker. And indeed, it will stop sort of hiccups like that at all. If I'm going to be away for a week, obviously, I'll let you know as much as I can in advance. That's what happened Friday last week. I knew a couple of hours in advance that was going to happen with the machine. I was like, oh no, I can't believe it. Because we wanted to talk about Eileen Flynn in particular last week. I know a lot of people were very excited about that. We'll still talk about it this week, because I think that needs to be said. That when you have a person that's in there as a senator earning upwards of €70,000 and can't string a sentence together, not only can she not string a sentence together, but she also uses words that are completely inaccurate. Could you imagine when someone's, I could be using worse words? That's a senator. That's absolutely insane. And that's not the only individual that's running around in there that's been saying all sorts. Shannon Darden has been a place, as you know, that has been politicians that haven't been very popular, been put out the pasture over there. That's why you're seeing in one of the videos, and I didn't state it in the video because I said I wanted to keep the focus on Eileen Flynn. We see Regina Doherty in the video, and I'm like, that's another person that was put out the pasture over there because the electorate didn't want her. Now, you will remember as well, there was a vote not too long ago to abolish the Shannons. Of course, they didn't do that because that's not something that they would want to do, because it's a handy money earner for them. And what you're starting to see now, and I'm seeing a lot of it, and I'm going to say this to you from the top of the show, I'm seeing a lot of it from people online. And when I say a lot of it, I'm seeing some prominent figures, and this is something that you need to be questioning as well, why they're asking for it. This asking for a referendum stuff, it's a bad idea. And what it's doing is it's allowing the government a little bit of space. Do you know what it's like? It's akin to, do you know when you were young and you used to say to your mum, and you'd say, "Mum, can I have this?" And your mum would say, "No." And you say, "Ah, go on, mum, can I?" And your mum would say, "No." And that's it. That's final. But you know that one time, or maybe that second time it might have happened, that you'd say to your mum, "Mum, can I have that?" And she'd say, "No." And you'd say, "Try it again." "Mum, can I have that?" And she'd say, "Maybe." And my mother was a person for that. If you kept saying to her, "Mum," eventually she'd go, "Ah, maybe." And that was your in. Like every single time that happened, I knew that was my in. So that's what's going on with a referendum, just so you know. When people are out there calling for it, you know what way that's going to swing as well as I do, because you're talking about a multi-million euro complex that's there to get what they want. And you even instigating that question of let's have a referendum, this isn't going to work out the way you think it's going to work out. You think that these people are going to play fairly. You're sorely mistaken. Have the last couple of years not taught you anything about these people? These people are the most deceptive individuals. As I said on Twitter not too long ago, and also on Gab and various other places, these people are career lawyers. So why would you believe someone that's a career lawyer? Because these career lawyers don't like people that tell the truth. Now, I think that's very important, because why would you then instigate a conversation of a referendum with these people when, I don't know, the last couple of them haven't gone our way? You got to just look at the acceptance of going into Europe. What did people do initially? No, we don't want that. Second time around, and that happened. So people just drastically changed their mind there. What about the last time when people told you about the slippery slope that was going to happen with relation to what you're seeing now in the last week? Remember that one? Oh, they just want to get married. Sure, but what else is going to happen then? There's a slippery slope that you're going to go down there, guys. And was it not 10 years later, is it? That now the slippery slope is starting to show itself. And I mean, that is some drastic change within 10 years, isn't it? To go from, hang on, guys, they need to be asking questions. These people say, no, don't do that. Home to vote. And then you get this, what you're saying in the last 2 weeks. Not only that, then, but it's not only 2 weeks. Let's be clear about that. The Enoch Borg thing is going on now for nearly a year. So that's dragging on, and that's going to keep dragging on. And that's an interesting watch as well. And I mean, amazing, isn't it? The likes of the Women's Council as well that saw Amy Bork. Is it Amy Bork or Amy Bork? I don't know what way you would pronounce that. I know they're biblical names that the children have. And they say children, they're adults. But you see the way she was treated, been pushed to the ground, allegedly, shall we say allegedly, speculatively? I mean, look, the video, to me, it's not a good look anyway for Angarcia Khanna. And to me, the fact that it's on video, I mean, I saw the Vanguarda, and I will call her Vanguarda because here's the thing, that's how I knew them as I was growing up. And just because you decided to change the name of them makes no difference to me. Is a Vanguarda the same as a Garda in general? No. Because what happens when anything goes wrong and you see those little videos of the diversity hires and all that, it's not going to go their way. They're completely different. And at the same time, they're telling you that, oh, no, that the lads can totally, the doubtfires can totally be women as well. That's been an interesting look. But going back on Amy Bork, any chance of there anything coming from the Council of Civil Liberties on that one? No, nothing. Okay. What about like the Women's Council and anything from them? No. Okay. Right. The HSE? No. No, I well sure that look. I mean, not so long ago they didn't really know what a woman was. You know what I mean? They're talking about people with certain things instead of women. That's what you know as a woman. But we're starting to see a world, and if you haven't ever seen a movie, it's called Idiocracy. I wholeheartedly suggest to you to watch that movie. It's a fantastic movie, and it's showing you exactly what's going on now at the moment. There's complete and utter idiocracy happening around the place. But it's all coming to a head, and it's coming to a head a lot quicker, I think, than these people are prepared for. I also do think, and as I said it before and I'll say it again, there's so much going on every week and so many different stories going on. Listen, I'll be honest with you, and I'll say it to you again tonight, and I'll say it repeatedly tonight, I'm sure. The stuff that they're pushing out over the last week or so is 100%, in my view, a distraction from what went on in the UK. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Matt Hancock and the WhatsApp messages that were leaked out there. Do you know what RTE posted out? They posted this out as an article. Matt Hancock says he's betrayed by the messages leaking. Well, that is one way to spin a headline, I tell you what, because should you not have been going in on what was said in those? like actively wanting to frighten people, not about anything to do with actual science or anything like that. And this is all coming to a head as well too. You've got Luke O'Neill out there now in various different mainstream media outlets going like, listen, the sniffles will be over come the summer. That's a weird statement. Why is that coming from you? Now listen, I think the likes of Luke O'Neill will probably be called in, chastised about that, and told, don't do that again, Luke, because that's a bad idea, because we want to keep this nonsense going for as long as we can. Now we have to kind of at the same time pretend like nothing's wrong, even though coroners are starting to come out in Ireland and Australia and are starting to go, there's a problem here, lads. We're seeing excess, very high excess by the way in the last year. It's more than normal. And that's starting to roll on itself. So there's a whole lot going on. And to just bring it back to what I was saying, you got to look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that there's going to be more and more distractions coming, because from what I can see, there's resignations happening. There's fingers starting to be pointed at each other. I think I was talking about, I don't know whether it happened the week before last, I don't think it did. A NEFIT member coming out, starting to posture, starting to put themselves in a certain frame. You're seeing Micheál Martin coming out and saying there won't be a witch hunt and we'll be looking into this inquiry. Of course, everyone knows that they're not going to inquire themselves very seriously. How do you know that? Well, you know what happened with Leo Varadkar, who was under criminal investigation, who had an awful lot of evidence on him, and the DPP just went, nah, we're not gonna charge him. Then you again bring it back to what's going on with Enoch Burke and see the way that him and his family were treated by the Gardaí coming out of the courts. It's nothing short of a disgrace. And any time you see that sort of heavy-handedness, did that happen with bankers? No. Did that happen with any of the politicians that were involved in that? No. Has that happened with any of the politicians, the media, NEFIT, HSE? Has that happened with any of them now in the last couple of months when everybody knows what's going on? No, none of them dragged out at all, were they not? No. With the Burkes, on the other hand, they've been dragged out. Well, what happens there, and as I keep saying to you, and I will always say this, I'm someone that's a big fan of law and order. I think it's very important. And I am someone, and I'll be honest with you, as I always am, that wants to support An Garda Síochána, that wants them to be the best organisation that they can be, to be people that protect Ireland and the Irish people and protect what's right, follow the law and rules. Now, as you can see, there's people in politics that are trying to change things, specifically the Constitution, which is a massive red flag, by the way, because that's the only thing that keeps these people in check. The fact that they are talking very flippantly about changing the Constitution, you've got Josepha Madigan out there that's talking about it's a living document. No, it's not. They're the rules. Follow the rules. That's it. End of story. And you people already at the moment haven't been following the rules. And there's a lot of talk from people online saying, if this was 1920s, this sort of carry on wouldn't be going on. There wouldn't be any sort of murmuring from the likes of Michael D. Higgins about what he's thinking about what should be in the curriculum for kids. None of that. And that wouldn't have been had in those days. Instead, Clown World has taken over. But the thing is, the circus is coming to an end. It's starting to draw its final curtain, and I can't wait. And in particular, I can't wait for these people to be held accountable. And they are going to be held accountable. But the only way you hold these people accountable is by assuming positions, the likes of councillor positions and TD positions. It's something I'm going to keep reiterating. Now, someone as well that I thought would have been good during the week was Peter Casey. Peter Casey was coming out, and he's been coming out with some bangers over the last couple of years. He's been right about an awful lot. But then this week he was like, well, you know what's going on over there in the blue and yellow flag waving country, support them. And the other fella is totally not good. I mean, talk about being out of touch on that one. That one's really out of touch. Because here's the thing, and I keep saying to people, I actually don't care about what's going on over in that country and the squabble that they're having with the other gang. I care about my country. And what's going on now is, and I seen a comment, I can't remember who said the comment, but it was online, and they said, instead of asking people if they're anti this or pro this, whatever like that, ask them, are they happy about becoming a minority in their own country, and see what sort of response you get. Because that is exactly what's happening right now, and I've proof of that tonight that we're going to show that from a foreign individual is actually saying, hey, this Ireland that I'm looking at right now, it certainly ain't Ireland. Bear with me on this one. And for anyone that's out there, I know some people listening to this and they're not a fan of the channel and they don't like me on that, and that's great. The fact that you're watching this and you're seeding there, keep doing that. There's nothing that gives me more pleasure than knowing people are listening to this and they actively are going mental. That's fantastic to me. But here's the thing, and something that I was always taught about when I was growing up. I was very fortunate, and I am very fortunate to have fantastic parents. But I was always taught that when you went on holidays, specifically to a different country, you're going to experience different culture, different history, different traditions, and that's why you went on holidays. Okay? This idea of bringing the holiday to your door is a terrible idea. I'm all for the likes of opening the likes of a Chinese restaurant or the likes of an Indian restaurant or a Mexican restaurant, wherever it might be, Italian restaurant, wherever it might be, happy days. But when that sort of starts to outweigh the actual history and tradition and culture of our own people, that's when you got to say, oops, hang on here, time out here. Because the tourist industry, these people in the tourism industry, and it surprises me because if you're in business, you should really start having a look at that. They're going to feel the brunt of it real soon. You're already seeing it. Cafes and pubs closing, the hotels scampering to try and win the Irish people back because now they realise they've let so many invaders in. And by the way, you should reference that invaders into the country. And let me tell you this, they're not sending their best, these other countries. A lot of these people that are coming out there, there was a South African man talking about what was going on. And in the wider world, he was talking about that himself. Black man, we might as well play the SJW bingo on that one because they like that. But he was out there talking about, hey, you know, these people that are going to your countries, they ain't the best of the best in these countries. He didn't say it like that now. Listen, he said it in a South African accent, but I'm not going to butcher a South African accent here. But he said, a lot of these people that are leaving these countries and going to your country are fresh out of jail. He's like, that's unequivocal. He says, so they've been up to all sorts, he says, in their own country, and they're going to yours. So anyone that's telling you that they're the best of the best coming here, anyone that's going and living in the likes of Gary Lineker's house or in Leo Varadkar's house or any of these people out there that are pontificating, they are venting these people to the annoyance. However, in the likes of your Crumlins, in the likes of your Talas, in the likes of your Wicklows, in the likes of your East Walls, these people are just being shoved into these areas. These politicians have told you that they don't give a fiddlers about you in that area. Look at the way Aidan O'Riordan answered that. I think it was one of the Grips reporters that did it at the time. Look at the way he sneered at him. Sure, why do I talk to them? Why do I talk to the people of East Wall? Why do you talk to the people of East Wall? Because you're directly affecting them. You're affecting everybody in that area. So you're at a stage of the game now where everyone's realising what's going on. You're being told what to do by politicians that are being told what to do by someone else. So it's no longer a sovereign nation. This hasn't been a sovereign nation for a very long time. When it should be. The media is certainly not sovereign. Most of it's owned by a German company. And the remainder of it then are all backpatting each other with the government. You got Micheál Martin out there this week congratulating someone on moving off. That's a media personality, a journalist, allegedly. Again, I use that term very loosely when it comes to these people. You know, journalist degrees that these people are picking up. You wouldn't be wiping your nose or whatever you say. And they're all just showing you now that they're all in cahoots. Because why else would Taoiseach and the current deputy be out there at the likes of a sending off ceremony? Because you're all in it together. And it just proves more and more. And the more times that pictures like that go around, the more times people get wiped out. But like I said, going back to Peter Casey, because I now started this little ramble on from there, you badly need, what badly needs to happen in this country now is, and I keep saying it, if you've ever seen Yellowstone, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, go and watch it. Fantastic show. You need a John Dutton. You need a guy that has plenty of money, that is based and is a patriot and understands what's going on. Because it has become clearer than ever now that there's a major issue in this country. And when you see one of the first articles that I'm going to put up here tonight from Grip Media, it'll actually shake you to your core, to the disregard that these people have for the Irish people. Now, you already know that from the previous streams that I've done, and the fact that you've got the likes of the Orcs and the Urukai. I shouldn't even say Urukai. Urukai were threatening. The Orcs and the Goblins that were running around Dublin city centre not too long ago, 50,000 strong. People over there that were brought over from the likes of England. You know, Extinction Rebellion. Was that what they're called? Rebellion, Extinction Rebellion, whatever it is. Anyway, people that are concerned about the environment but never do anything about it themselves. Eamon Ryan there across in Paris. A lot of people just commenting on him going, stay there. And I would agree with them. I hope he does. I hope he stays. I hope he stays in Paris, if I'm being honest with you. So it's great. It's great to see more and more people now online starting to answer back with these people. And indeed, when they see them in person, I saw a video there last week about D Wall. He was talking to Micheál Martin, talking about George Thomas, and he was giving her the old guff of just talking around Politicians, by the way, if they're able to talk around something for a minute, minute and a half, that's what they're hoping to do to deflect you. Just stay on topic and ask them the question that you're asking, because that's something that I've seen recently. Actually, I don't like him. I keep saying that I do like him. Ben Scanlon was doing that there when he was talking to the various different individuals throughout the government, and obviously Catherine Martin as well too. In particular, he was letting her know, like, hang on, I've asked you a question here and you didn't actually answer that question. And then not to mention when he was talking to Pascal Donahue, all very clear and obvious to see from me. So what we'll do is we'll jump in and we'll say hello here. And we've got Leanne's in here, says, hi, Derek McManus, good evening and nice to see you here too. Chat says, hi, Triple H, good to see you. There's Triple H in here as well. Good to see you here. How's things? Jumping down through the chat. By the way, I know that one of the lads will say it to me as well earlier on in the chat, because I have to catch up with it now. But you'd be like, at Ninja Night, if you've got anything to say now tonight, says that just makes my job easier going along. We've got someone here sends a 5. I'm trying to see that now. What's going on here with this? Blue Short Degeneration says, much love, Ninja. Sends a 5. Much appreciated. Love the profile picture there. The frog is awesome. Now let's keep going. Triple H talking about TikTok. Yeah, someone said that recently to me. They were like, Ninja, are you on TikTok? And I said, no. And they said, well, someone has your stuff up on TikTok. And I was like, oh, that's grand. I don't have one. I don't trust it. You got these guys in China. These guys, and it's been banned everywhere now. It's come from China. Anyway, we'll have a look now through the rest of the chat. Elena is in here as well. Good to see you. Blue Ground One's in here as well. Roberta says, good evening, folks. Happy Friday. Good to see you. Derek McManus is in here. I'm sure Derek McManus has thrown that into the chat now to let people know to go at Ninja Night. Been talking now for about 20 minutes at this stage. We keep going. Let's have a look. Barva 1014 is in here. Says, no interest in RTE. This is a great place to be on a Friday night. Very much appreciated. Thank you for that. We've got Fergus Powers in here. Great to see Fergus here. Unbelievable stuff. Now it's great to see him. And in particular, I hope the likes of Fergus there, for example, right? Fergus is one of the people I'm talking about, in that should be running for a local councillor or TD position in whatever area he's in. Philip Dwyer the same. These people would ramp home, in my view, because you're just telling home truths, and then not only that, then you're showing what these people are at and what they've been at. Very important. There has to be an end game to this, and the end game to this is taking the positions that are absolutely up there for grabs. Look at Leo Varadkar and Micheál Martin. 5th count, 6th count. You've got Simon Harris there. He's got in on the 15th count. These are positions that are ripe for the taking. I fully believe that. Now, a lot of people would say, well, I don't believe in the system and all like that. But here's the thing. You have to make the system do outrageous things. It's like The Matrix. I'm big into me entertainment, as you know. The Matrix showed that once Neo was unplugged and was doing his bit, the Matrix went and did outrageous things that woke a lot more people up then. And that's the same thing that you're seeing here. You're seeing outrageous things go on. You look at what's gone on there in the last week or so in America, the revelation that happens there with the tapes. That's very effective. And why is it effective? It's effective because people have been lied to for the best part of nearly 3 years now, would we say? Was it less than that? Can't count years. But anyway, these people, it seems like 3 years has gone on anyway for the amount of time they want to talk. And the fact that they want to conflate it with one of the worst things that has ever happened in history in New York. But you have seen people that were ultimately not just going to look at Oxford Advocate there, Centre 5 says, Gales resist the second plantation of Ireland. Absolutely is the second plantation of Ireland. Just saw that comment, very interesting one and a very important one. But you've seen people that have been told porcupines for the last year, 2 years, whatever it might be, and now it's all coming out. That is more effective and more devastating for the other side than anything else would be. I know people lose the rag and people say, I'm unhappy about this and the best thing to do is lose the rag. I totally disagree. I think the best thing is to do is to just keep doing what's been done, respectful, peaceful, and all that happens is more and more people join. And not only that, then the attempts from the media to try and attack people, they've gone off this far right thing real quick. They've started up with this Mrs. Doubtfire stuff now, guys, and they've decided now to even peel that one back and pretend like they're on your side. You see, this is what they do. And they're like, oh, we're actually, do you know what? We're wrong on that one, but tell you what, we're right on that one. We fully agree with you on that. And they're trying to win back trust and credibility. You know as well as I do that the mainstream media is panicked, because when they have guys out here that are, and women, of course, that are out with microphones that are around, that are going around with phones like that, citizen journalists, they know that the views are going that way. They're very aware of that. They're keenly aware of that. And that's what they're fearing now at the moment. They're fearing that grip and that control being loosened, and it's getting away from them. It's been wrestled away from them, and it's been wrestled away from them pretty easily, because once you tell the truth, it's very difficult for these people to catch up with lies. Super difficult. And not only that, then, they have to be consistent with the lies. But I tell you what, the fact that Elon Musk has bought Twitter has just changed the game altogether, because 90% of what's come out in the last year wouldn't have come out beforehand. Absolutely would not. And that is making a big effect as well, where there's millions of views happening with things. Now, I know what you'll say, and I agree with you, when you say, oh, it doesn't seem like much is happening now at the moment. 100% agree. But this stuff has been turned over. Here's the thing. Companies and governments wanted to lock stuff down for 75 years. Now it's all out. Now we're into. That's problems for these people. These people thought they'd all be long gone. And that's the thing. That's why you need to assume those positions, to make these people accountable. The only thing about America is, and I have to be honest with you, America gives me a bit of hope insofar as they do seem like they're going to go that way of holding people accountable. Whereas you look across here and there's people that think that once they slink away, that'd be it. That can't be the case. We've got Toby in here, says Ninja late as usual. Do apologise on that one. I do try to be on time, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. Like I said, I'm building this thing up with cold, so I'm trying to get in as early as possible. Roberta Ooh says Ninja putting on more hair gel on to look good on tonight's show. Love it. Sheepdog says Ninja punctual as usual. Or punctual as ever. Misread that one. Oh, stop. The lads roasting me in the chat here about the timeliness. Listen, I think if you're in this channel for a long time at this stage, you know to expect. Satirical Soldiers in here says hello to everyone from a bad iPad. Good to see you here, man. Great to see you here. Satirical Soldier's been doing great videos, and the stuff that he's putting up online all the time, absolutely fantastic. Very much so appreciated. By the way, I want to give a big shout out just at the start of the stream, because I obviously do at the end of the stream, and then I feel woeful about it until the following week, and I should really do that at the start of the stream. Big shout out to the mods that are in here. Much appreciated. Absolute legends that are in here doing the mods. Thanks very much as well to the members here in the channel. Very much so appreciated. And thanks to everybody that supports the channel. The links are in the description below. Important that you're looking at the alternative media, the likes of Gab in particular. You know that I love Gab, and you know that I promote Gab. And in the last 2 weeks, I would say, there's been issues again with Twitter. And everyone knows it. Everyone knows that there's issues with Twitter, and they know. I have a video coming out that's specifically talking about how one comic book creator was spoken to on Twitter. And here's what's going on still. People like us are still hamstrung on the likes of Twitter. The other side aren't. The other side are doing what they're doing, and they keep doing what they're doing. However, if you're on the likes of Gab, and I've done it in the last 2 weeks, where I've had a couple of weirdos that would come in and say stuff, and I'd say, right, come on over to Gab and let's see if you hold the same opinion over there. And they never get back to you. They're like, oh, no. And some of them do, and someone would say, oh, that's a horrible platform. Listen, you know that's going to be no holds barred over there, and you know it's not going to be something that you like. You like to be over here in your little safe space. And something that's happened in the last week or two, and I've seen a dramatic shift in it. Like even the Transformers video that I did, that's over 1,000 views now at the moment. Beforehand, those views weren't there for that video. Now they are, because people are starting to realise now that people like me and you that are out there that were saying these people are on the slippery slope here, they're going to start going after kids. Now they're going after kids, and they're openly talking about that. And not only that, then they begin it with this sort of innocuous thing of like, yeah, so what, we're talking to kids, and you go, well, that's bang out of order, shouldn't be doing that. And they're like, but what if you had like some sort of religion thing? And I'm like, well, that shouldn't be in entertainment, really. It would be in my entertainment. I tell you, if I created a comic book universe, which I'm on the way to doing now at the moment, it'll be in there, because why not? You know, might as well create for something that I like, and then hopefully other people will like. That's what I'm going to do. And then they go, what? Well, okay, you've disproved me about what I'm talking about. Why do you care so much? It's only a children's program. It's only a cartoon. And see, that's what they always default back to. It's only this program. It's only that programming. And that's what's very important, because not too long ago, I've seen multiple different shows that are up to multiple different things that are being aimed towards kids and young kids, and they're making certain things acceptable. And that's all been done under the noses of people. I know for a fact, and I know people might say, hey, you know, that's a bit old-fashioned and stuff like that. when I was growing up, my mum and dad knew everything about what I was watching. They also watched it too. Like, they weren't just leaving me there and going off into another room doing whatever. They were watching it and they were making sure it was cool. Do you know what I mean? They were like, okay, make sure everything's happy days here. Power Rangers was a big phenomenon when I was a child. And that was something that my parents at the time were like, not really sure now. You know, there's a lot of, isn't it mad how far we've come? We went from Power Rangers and Mortal Kombat to be the things that people were like, oh my God, the most about, to now other stuff being way out there. But I remember that at the time. I remember even when Eminem came out. I remember that. And the big talking points about him. But they kept an eye on those things. That's what parents were there for. And I mean, like, you look at how little Power Rangers was in comparison to what it is now. Like, recently, they're talking about giving an award to the Power Rangers from the likes of the Glad or whatever like that because there's a gay character in it. So they're in your face about that in a kids program. Anyway, that's entertainment. Let's have a chat now about everything else, because I know some people don't be into the entertainment stuff. But look, I like to weave it in because it's very important. Tardan's in here, says good evening all. Good to see you here. Your views, Nick Sean says only the best can see it for what it is, the ones who matter. Absolutely. And here's the thing, guys. There's people that are out there, and I said it during the week, the people that were out there that were falling onto the sniffles and were your opposition during the sniffles are forever going to be your opposition. That's not going to change. It's absolutely not going to change. So the people that are out there that were on the fence are certainly people that didn't agree with it at all. They're your friends. They're people to be called allies, and they are your friends. Because to me, you look at the opposition that was there, and those people will hold that going forward because they're being told to, and they buy into it willingly, an awful lot of them. Now, we did see a fantastic document that came out there during the week that was shared, and it was a woman's response to the TV license, and in particular on Puss, and she was quoting the codes that were broken by the likes of the broadcaster. And I have to say, I have to be honest with you, it's fantastic to see. And she was like, I'm not paying a TV license until they sort out what's gone on and start telling the truth. And I was like, leaving at that then. So anyway, Irish Red says, Ninja Knight, the Shand was set up by the Anglos to keep the hand on the Irish people and the doll. Wouldn't shock me at all. Wouldn't shock me at all. Owen Farrell's in here, says Ninja for president. I'd love to be president, I would. You know, I don't think... You look at the Higgins fella and you're like, definitely can do that. 100%. It wouldn't be too bad at that now, I have to say. I tell you what, it'd be a better laugh. I would enjoy that massively. If only just to cause a bit of laugh, that would be it. But also then to rein these people in and call them out about what's going on. Toby's in here, says that Ninja O'Gorman being called out on RT was hilarious. Yeah, I'll show you that video this evening. That was another good one. The media are already on that as well too, been like the person who said that, oh, they're terrorists and all that. Well, you didn't say he was wrong. That's something that I find. Wasn't it, yeah, man, Peter as well too, wasn't it, with the second name, Tatchell? Wasn't he posting with a photograph there with O'Gorman not too long ago? That's a bit weird, wasn't it? What's happened with your man there since? Oh, have a look into your man. That's all I can say to you. Have a look into him indeed. There's some videos out there and indeed quotes that would... I tell you, I don't know how your man's not in jail. Anyway, quick swig there before we continue on. We'll jump on over here to Gab. If you're not over here already, highly recommend it. Get over here, get off the likes of Facebook, get off the likes of these other platforms. As I said before, I had the laugh on Twitter. A lot of people that say that. And look, I've done a little bit more laughing than I should have been doing in the last while. But these are the platforms that you need to be pushing other people towards, in particular the normies, saying to them, hey, look, come on over here. No restriction of information over here. It's all good, and you can say what you want. And it's very important. And I've learned more on this profile and indeed on this app than I would have anywhere else before. It's gotten to the point, by the way, just so you know, that Elon Musk is starting to say things that are being said by the guy who owns Gab. He's posting similar memes too. So Gab is leading the way. And it's also now setting up alternative payment methods. So you're seeing some creators being told that they can't go to like a crowdfunder. You're seeing PayPal messing about there with Eric D. July, for example. And these guys over here are like, we're going to set up our own thing. We're going to have a parallel economy. And that's something, by the way, that's become a big talking point in America. And I think it probably will eventually across other countries in the world where they're talking about the national divorce is what they're calling it, but ultimately secession. So they're like, you guys stay over there. We're going to agree to disagree. You do whatever you're doing over there. We're going to do everything over here. And a lot of people might start to say that that's maybe a good idea here in this country. Now, what do I think about that? I think I already have a bit of a secession anyway with Northern Ireland, but they are still under British rule. But if you ask most people, I know plenty of Republicans, I'm not speaking for all Republicans now, but I know plenty of Republicans that are in the north that are looking at what's going on down here and they're like, listen, if they ask me tomorrow, there's no way I'd be joining you. It's an absolute clown show going on down there. Do you know what I mean? And that's what's going on. The very least, and I have to keep saying it, at the very least, the British seem to hold their people accountable. Another video came out there during the week, and we'll be talking about it in this stream because it's obviously pertinent to what's been happening. But has anyone else seen that video? Is it, who was your man there? Is it Prince William? Is it him and your woman Kate? Is it? And your woman's wearing one of the shawls because they're in obviously one of the lads there, one of the Muslim places, and she reaches her hand out to shake her man's hand, and your man pulls his hand away. I was like, oh my God. It's beginning. It's starting to begin. And I have to be honest with you, even here tonight now, obviously the Catholic Church, they put their heads above the parapet in the last 2 weeks. About time. It's about time, guys, that you put the head above the parapet and start saying something that was completely the opposite of what these people want you to say. But soon after that then, the Muslim came out and were like, listen, we don't agree with what's been told and been attempted at being taught to children here. And I'm like, here we go, lads. Here we go. What's that phrase? The enemy of my enemy. Yeah, all about to find out, lefties. I'm guaranteeing you that we told you so, by the way. But anyway, jumping into this, we've got an article here from Gript, and it says, migrants who arrive without passports are free to work here after 6 months. The Minister for Justice has said that migrants who enter Ireland with false or no documentation are free to seek work in the country after 6 months. Now, I'm going to be honest with you on that. That should be a sackable offence. Is that not a sackable offence? There should be a petition tomorrow morning. It should be even happening tonight to call for this fella to be out. That's absolutely outrageous. That's Simon Harris. That's shocking. So just to bear with me, and I know you all will, and I know that you all understand this and you feel the same, but just think about this for a second. Last year, they wanted you to have medical documentation to provide to people so you could enter a cinema, a pub, a restaurant, and a gym. To say that you didn't have the sniffles or that you had taken stuff 4 times, 5 times, some people 6, that evidently doesn't work. Well, I mean, maybe it's working for a different purpose, and we all know about that because we'll be talking about the excess later on. But you have been forced to do that if you wanted to engage in society. You've got guys like Senator Jerry Horkin, out there saying that they should be implemented to go to the likes of the supermarket. And not a year later, these same clowns that are out there, this circus, are telling you that people that are arriving here without any documentation, yeah, they can work after 6 months. Free gaff after 4. Irish citizen, probably after 4 and 5 months. And then after that, then yeah, they can work. Of course they can. They're entering the country illegally. This is illegal behaviour. This is criminal behaviour. So this is the stage of the game that we're at now, where this is being blasted in your face. And this is an article, by the way, that didn't get much traction when it should. This is what should be getting big traction instead of fellas in dresses pretending that they're something that they're not. Because listen, if I went down to the bank tomorrow morning and said, I identify as a millionaire, they'd be laughed out of the place. And rightfully so. But listen, people might get a bit of an idea now and go down and start doing that. I identify as a millionaire. What? That's negative speech that you're saying to me. But coming back on this one here, this is a massive scandal. I was talking to someone recently and they were telling me, they were like, can you imagine reading in the years for the last 3 years? And I said, where do you start? Like, honestly, where do you start? Like, and it's not only that then. I talked to other people that believe in everything that's going on, and I decided to them, like, and they watch reading in the years religiously, and I decided to them, does that not make you think, like, scandal after scandal and criminal behaviour after criminal behaviour, does that not make you think that that sort of stuff still happens today? And they're like, no, they've all weeded it out. It's worse now than ever, probably. It's in your face, and that's what gets me the most. It's like, how in your face? This is in your face. This is absolutely shocking, but this should be grounds. This is dangerous first and foremost because it's putting the Irish people in danger. Because if someone's willing to come to a country without documents and not have anything like that, who are they? Where have they come from? What have they been up to? And what are they going to do coming here? And you're telling me that they could be in a place of work. And some people think like that these people in the media try to give off, oh, they're doctors and engineers. These are people that are probably going to be going into the likes of, and to just put it bluntly, the likes of care homes and places like this. What do you think they're going to do with a loved one of yours that's in these type of places? I would never put a loved one of mine into a care home or anything like that. It's a very bad idea, in my humble opinion. That's just my opinion. But these are the type of people you're going to start seeing in these places. And you're going to see all sorts of skullduggery and all sorts of nonsense happening in the next couple of years. Sure, it's happening anyway. You've got fellas that are coming over here now telling you that they're a registered doctor, and then a couple of years later, people find out actually either one, this person was struck off the list, or two, they're actually not a doctor at all. Remember that? Remember that there was a story of a fella that was doing surgery and hadn't got a clue? I tell you what, this is egregious. This is grounds, in my view, for the removal of a minister, especially in that job. That is scandalous to say that that's happening. And like I said, just going back on the last couple of years, I know some people might say, the last couple of years are over. Listen, this isn't Avengers Endgame, guys. It's not where you can just go, that was a blip, that was 2 years, 5 years, whatever like that. We were just going to miss that and forget about it. I'm not forgetting about it. I want these people held accountable. And the fact that they were trying to do the likes of you and me out of everything in the last year and then do this, it's scandalous. It's an outrage. It's an absolute outrage. Let's jump into the round of what we got here. We got some memes and we got some images. So we'll talk about the news as such, and you know what I like to do. I like to weave in of topics and have a laugh and stuff like that, as well as the serious stuff, obviously, because what you've seen above there is serious. What you'll see down below is serious as well too. When we're talking about mortgage rates as well and interest rates now, because they're all affecting your wallet. Has everyone noticed as well? I'm sure you have, that you're paying more for items than you would have done in the last couple of years, and those items are now becoming smaller. So I'm someone that likes a little bit of chocolate. I'm sure plenty of people out there like to do the same. And I'm starting to see a great reduction amongst them. Have you seen that too? Dairy milk bars now down to 180 grams. They were 200 grams. You've lost 20 grams, and now they're 250. That's when they're on special, by the way, because they're €3 normally. And here's what was happening beforehand, just because I'm a bit of a connoisseur when it comes to chocolate. You used to get a 200 gram bar for €3, and then when it went on special, it was €2, right? Now you're getting less and they're expecting you to pay more. And this is across the board everywhere. So the likes of your restaurants like that, like Burger King, McDonald's, KFC, even those little restaurants, I mean, not so little, I mean, they're conglomerates really or anything, but they've gone with their prices and gone upwards. I talk about the action figure industry obviously as well too, because it's something I'm keenly interested in, and I'm looking at that and like, say for example, a 6-inch figure that used to be €15 not too long ago, it's now 30. Costing you the price of two of them now together, and there's actually no significant improvements been made. They're smaller than ever, they're more hollow, you're getting less. And people are also feeling the pinch about that around the world, and no better than the Americans that are going, hang on here for a sec, I've been scammed out there, lads. 100%. But it's happening now with everyday stuff. And then what they'll play on it with is, oh, there's a bit of a shortage in that there. They start that little rumor, there's a shortage. Oh my God, did you hear there's a shortage? Yeah. Well, do you know what, guys? Due to the fact that we have a shortage, we actually have to make sure that we bring that down to reflect that. So we're going to give you less. We're going to charge you more because it's more difficult to get. And the companies are winning. Now, I don't mind capitalism, as you know, but it's getting to the stage now where you see these things that used to be just the norm. As I said, they've got a 200 gram bar, is now being peeled down to 180 grams. I think if I remember correctly, the last time I looked at it, I think they're down to 160 grams now. That used to be the small bar. That used to be the one where fellas would go into the likes of a pub and it's, I have a pint and a pack of crisps, and that, sure, look, throws a caramel out there, a mint crisp. You know, that was the small bar. I'd never go for them because I always felt that they were overpriced. That's just me. But that's now going on where the big bar is becoming the small bar and it's still having an outrageous price to it. I know a lot of people will be out there and say, well, just don't buy it. I don't understand what you're saying. But the fact that people are putting up with that and allowing that is another issue too, rather than going, hang on here for a second. But there's so much going on, like I said, and so much that's happening that's much more important, that those things are just going by the wayside. And that's why it's happening. That's why it's all happening at the same time. Is because if people have focused on something for long enough, it's going to be an issue. Saw a comment there during the week, and it was just like, should we link in what's been attempted at being taught to children with the rhetoric that the government are putting out there, that we're anti this and anti that, and you're Islamophobes and all that? And I'm like, yeah, 100%. Everyone should be joining together on one side, because that's what the other gang do, and that's what they attempt to do. Like, you've got people out there that are on the left. You have to give the left one credit, and I have to be honest with you, and I'll always say it to you. The credit that I give the left is that they're all bonkers and they all stay together and they all row behind each other. Very little do you ever see them start to break ranks and talk about it. You got people before profit there last week. What was it, last week or the week before? They were talking about, we're afraid that the Gardaí, if we got into power, that the Gardaí would do something about it. Huh. Is that not a conspiracy theory? Is that not a conspiracy theory? But you've now got people that are out there, lots of people before profit, that are signalling that they want a hard left government. Now, what they're doing is they're begging for votes because they know come the next election that if you have patriots standing up there, they're going to take the seats off them. So what they're hoping for to happen is, and the Social Democrats, they'll do it too, they're hoping for Sinn Féin to pick up the slack and they're hoping for them to give them votes and give them extras. But what they haven't banked for is the fact that Sinn Féin as a party are now at the moment looked upon by the large majority of people as just being the same as the others. They're all looked at as being the same. And this is the time that a political party should be making headway, significant headway. And that's why I'm talking about likes of a John Dutton. You should have one political party now that is going to be promoted on a new broadcast, a huge broadcaster, and people with money, and just blast the message. And the message will be followed. People understand it. And at the moment, we do still hold the majority in this country. That's trying at the moment. They told you with the CSO figures that there was a net immigration that was higher than their natural birth rates, which is not good. So this can't go on. Like when someone says, oh, you can wait an election or two, you can't. You really can't. This isn't time to be sitting around going, I don't agree with this person, I don't agree with that person. It's time now for patriots and nationalists to gather together, put your egos aside, and start sitting down and start coming together and start looking at the areas that you can win. Look at like Savannah Brun, Harry Potter, look at like that's moved around 2 or 3 different places there and finally got in. Lynn Boylan's wife, you know what I mean? And you've got others then that are at the same. That are just been moved around different areas and then they end up getting in and then they're in. But that's what patriots and nationalists that have to be doing that. They have to sit down and go, okay, instead of splitting a vote over here, what we're going to do is we're going to go full in over here and you take that area and I'll take that area. Like, you got to look at Lord of the Rings, and that's why, that's why entertainment like that and books like those have been important, and our messages and our, to me, good teachings from people beforehand to show you how to win. Gondor didn't like Rohan. I know that this might be a bit of like something out there for people, but Gondor didn't like Rohan. It's like this. It's kind of like Dublin and Meath, right? Dublin and Meath have had a long-standing rivalry. You know that it doesn't. They don't always see eye to eye, but coming to a national issue and something to do with patriotism and nationalism, I'm sure Dublin and Meath would set those things aside and say, okay, guys, we do what's for the best and for the best of the people. And similarly as well too, Gondor, Rohan put their own selves and their own issues with them in the past aside, and they said, right, we've got a big problem here with Mordor. That's the way you got to look at it. You have to. So going looking at this here, Alison O'Connor, let's discuss Mrs. Doubtfire issues without any more input from the books. Here's the thing. Enoch Burke should be running for a position in government. That's what he should be doing. That's the next step. Because you're seeing the left are like, he's unemployable. And they salivate about that because they think that your morals and principles are going to be taken away because of money. Because that's, you see, that's the difference. These people have morals and principles like they do, which is none, I would say, and plenty of people would argue with that, because they are benefiting from that. They are benefiting from the likes of an NGO. They're benefiting from the entertainment. You know as well as I do that most actors that are out there that are saying the ludicrous things that they are more than likely don't believe it when they're saying those things. Like, I've seen and I've been watching a couple of different actors, and I was watching Colin Farrell, and I'll say this to you. I like Colin Farrell, I like him as an actor, but I can see him now being pulled in at some stage and being told he has to promote some leftism nonsense. I'm telling you, and some others that are big enough as well too. Can see it going that way. But I was watching him recently, and I watched him in a couple of different interviews, and I suppose it's just something that you notice when you're a little bit older, I suppose, and certainly with what's going on. I noticed how put on and not this real kind of real nice, guy, where if I was sitting in this position, I'd be like, I've been asked this question 100 times. I'm sick of this. do you know what I mean? And it's really like, oh yeah, and being like super interested. He was talking to, I'll tell you the interview that did it for me. He was on Graham Norton, and I seen him on that, and he came across real well and all that. But I seen this actors on actors thing with Jamie Lee Curtis, and I was like, that's it there. Because she is so up herself that there's no way you could sit there opposite her and be as pleasant. Colin Farrell was putting on an acting masterclass. He might say, no, actually, it wasn't. I was enjoying being there. But I was looking at her going, that's a masterclass that he's putting on here now, because there's no way you could sit, it couldn't sit opposite that insufferable woman and behave like that. But what I think should be happening is, and like I said, going back to it, these people on the left don't understand how a man can have courage, moral principles, and value in his beliefs, because they think once the money goes away and the fines a mess, that's going to be the end of it. It's not. And it's going to keep rumbling on. And I sincerely hope now that these guys, and indeed ladies that are involved as well too, win out. And I think they will. I think this is going to be a long drawn out process, but I do think that they're going to win in the end. Now, the thing is, the longer it goes on, the worse it looks for the government. You might say, Ninja, how? Well, the longer it rumbles on and the longer it happens, people look at it and they say, well, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that that's still carrying on. And the fact of the matter is that people are starting to get more and more awake to these things, especially this sort of stuff here. They're starting to wake up real quick now and start to say, yeah, maybe that fella there that you were memeing there back in, what was it, October, maybe he was right. He is. 100%, because what's happened in the last 2 weeks, these people have gone all out and said, oh yeah, no, we want to talk to you about these things and we want to talk to your kids about these things. Sure, you guys can opt out. No, that shouldn't be in there in the first place. So these people don't want to talk and give any sort of airtime to the Borks anymore, but they want you to listen to them. It's difficult to recall any family in recent memory that has received the oxygen of so much publicity. That's what it's about, oxygen. It's like, oh, they're after getting an awful lot of attention. And now the likes of the lamestream have to report on these things, because otherwise there'll be nobody clicking on their stuff. Now here's Alison here. Alison is the one who wrote that article. I have to be honest with you every single time, guys. I mean, I know some people might say Ninja, and I know one person in particular, they messaged me not too long ago and they're like, you keep picking people up on their looks. It's always someone that looks like this. Always. And, you know, there was some comments about the appearance here as well too. They were like, oh, no wonder she wants to talk about Mrs. Doubtfire. You know what I mean? Is the pronouns definitely she, her when it comes to this one? Or what's the story? But this is what I'm saying to you guys. You've got people out there like this, and that's what doesn't gel with a lot of people. They don't realize that individuals like this are the one that are going, oh, those people in the Doubtfires are completely correct in the book. No, hang on. Listen, because I'll just be out there with you guys. Everyone's talking about Enoch's sister, you know. They're all talking about her. Enoch wouldn't love it, the family wouldn't love it, but they're all talking about her. They're talking about that woman, and you know, that woman, let's just call it spade a spade. That's an attractive woman. And she's standing beside her beliefs, and she's standing for her morals and her principles as well. And you've got this one over here, you know, she, her, is out there saying, no, we shouldn't be talking to those people. We should actually, when they're talking about not giving them any more oxygen and publicity, stifle what they are saying, is what she's saying. Now, this is a person, I'm sure, with the media company that she's working for that was all for your civil rights, your liberties, and your freedoms. Oh, no, wait. A company wasn't for that. That's weird, isn't it? So that's 2 out of 2. And like I keep saying to people as well, too, you've got people, you know, that look like this, that aren't the ones that are on the right side of history. This is also what's going on with journalism and what has been happening and what's been more clear, because you know as well as I do that articles like that have been negative about the books have been coming from the lamestream. You see a couple of goofs that are out there that are like, it's shocking what's going on, and these people should be committed. Like, out there stuff, these people are saying, now, like, let's make no bounds about it, guys. These are the same people that bought into the sniffle stuff over the last couple of years, so make it out what you will in terms of intellect. But anyway, you're going and looking at this here, and this is what journalism used to be before. This is a brilliant post here from CB Dodge, I think it is there. And it's before, very simple, people that are there. Now this is the politician on the podium. The journalist used to ask the question and people used to make up their own minds, which is what used to happen. And I'll be quite honest with you guys, Obviously, I'm biased when it comes to things. I'd be the first person to say that to you. The media like to pretend that they're not biased, but it's pretty clear what way they stand. And when I say biased, I believe wholeheartedly in what I'm saying, and what I'm saying is the truth. And I also then, at times, obviously, will try to be impartial. I know it's difficult, and sometimes I'm not. I'd say most of the time, maybe. But I think most people agree with that then. And I think the likes of lawyers and talking around the truth is over. Now you're saying this, the person on the podium is talking through what used to be the media person, and they're just parroting what this person said, and they're blasting it at the people. People are like, no, we're not having that. We don't like that. How come the people that are asking questions are parroting the same thing that these people are saying, and that's all nonsense? But this is the future. Now, this is with relation to Twitter, because what's going on right now, and this is happening right now, you have politicians that are out there that are saying things, people, multiple people questioning that politician that has, say, 40,000, 250,000 followers, can't get 10 likes on a tweet, and people that are out there that are ratioing them, that are like you and me, asking them questions, going, here, hang on here for a second, or you're banging out of order, or that's wrong, and they're blocking you. So there's a difference. I'm just going to put that out there, because life is full of shades of grey. There's a difference between when I say, hey, fellas can't be ladies and ladies can't be fellas, right? And also then when I point out what's been going on in the Transformers fandom for the last while, there's a difference between me blocking the likes of Aegis that are coming in here with ridiculous things that are out there and are making comments. A lot of them, by the way, seem to have multiple flags in the bio, pronouns, and all seem to claim to be autistic, which I find to be something else. Now, obviously, as well, when you draw the attention to, hey, you have multiple flags in the bio, you have multiple pronouns, and you say you're autistic, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that you said that. But that's on your bio. And there seems to be a bit of a pattern emerging there. Every one of you people seem to be claiming to be autistic. And what they do is, just so you know, because I know that there's some people that are older than me that are out there that are not aware of the social media world or are engaging in it and have had this same thing happen. They then try and use that as a defense mechanism. You can't question me because I'm autistic. Yeah, I can. 100% I can. Of course I can. That actually leads to more questions from the likes of me, because hang on here for a second. When I was growing up, and see, this is the thing, it's not too long ago, and the generation that are coming after me, they're just based, if not more based than I am, because they're hitting home with things like that. They're going, why would we listen to the likes of you? You know, you just got to look at the animal kingdom. In the animal kingdom, the weakest doesn't lead the likes of a pack, doesn't lead the group, doesn't happen. But here in this world, in the human civilization, you have meek and weak individuals that are leading the place. You've got politicians that are out there that wouldn't be able to pick up a 15-kilogram dumbbell. They wouldn't be able to do it. Politicians that are out there now, we'll say it tonight, Jim O'Callaghan, by the way, just as you know, relation to his there, Miriam O'Callaghan, she's the next in line for the Late Late Show. Just an article came out there during the week and I went, what a week for the O'Callahans. And he's out there as a 55-year-old being like, I'm attempting to guard a fitness test. We'll have a look at down below. Insane. Should be blaming that. That should be a laugh. And then it's also putting the Gardaí down at the same time by saying how ridiculous it is that a 55-year-old fella can attempt it. And I think, what, did he pass it, did he? That's not great viewing. Anyway, going back to this here, this is the future, because now what you're seeing, and it's been kicked off, and I have to be honest with you, the first person that I ever see do it, and I mean, some other people might say, well, this is the first person I saw do it. Philip Dwyer was the first person that I ever saw that went out with the likes of the selfie stick, went out there with the phone, and was recording conversations with people, real conversations with them, and asking them real questions. That was the first time I've ever seen it in a very long time. And that's something now that the likes of the media and the government are keenly aware about, and that's frightening them, because if you have people that are out there that are asking questions and they're going around doing these things, that's not what they want. They want to be everyone in lockstep. You see the articles all the time that come out. They're all in lockstep. You can actually put it together. Isn't it there? There's a guy on YouTube, if you haven't seen him yet, I would wholeheartedly recommend him. It's called Mark Dice. Have a look at his channel. He talks about Mockingbird, for example. That'll clue you in real quick as to what's going on. And it's happening, and you just have to look at our media. Look at who most of the media companies that are out there, and I say companies because there's various different names on that, they're all owned by one German company. A lot of them. Not interesting. So This is the future for sure. This is already happening, and this is what's causing panic amongst politicians now. And it's great to see. It's great to see the panic that's happening now. But ultimately, as well, too, and I just need to remind people of this: Twitter isn't real life. But what is quite interesting to me is when real people are gathering together, and I'm not talking about people that are doubtfires. I think that they're doubtfires that are grouping messages together and then they're sending them to each other and then they're saying, "Oh, get 50 likes on this so we can outlike someone else." That's what they do. But what's happening is there's actual real life things happening when a post is made by a politician and people are underneath it that are liking it, that are actual real people that just come across that content and are like, "Oh, I like that." It's not manufactured. That's what I'm saying to you. There's a lot of stuff that's out there, particularly on Twitter, that's manufactured. You look at any of these people out there that have multiple flags in the bio, telling you that they're he, him, they, them, and all this. So Z, your with an X. It's unreal. And they're telling you autistic. Have a look at their posts if you're on Twitter. Very low likes on all of their posts. But when they want to attack someone, loads of likes on their posts. It's interesting. It almost seems like there's a DM group there that they say attack this person. And someone else that's out there as well, I was on a channel not too long ago talking about Transformers, was Orbital Bacon. He's someone that's a Transformers fan, and that's something that me and him have been talking about. I personally think between himself and myself, we started to create a massive conversation in the Transformers community. Because now there's people starting to recognize that when the name pops up, they're like, "Oh, we know who that is." It's like Captain Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, when your man says to him, "You're the worst pirate I've ever heard of." And he's like, "But you have heard of me." So anyway, looking at this is good to see. This is the future, 100%. So you've got Michael D. Now, this would probably be a good time if you're in any sort of the know with anything that this guy has done in the past. This would probably be a good time to come out and say things. You know, a lot of allegations and speculation around this guy. Remember that Forbes article from a couple of years ago? If you don't know what I'm talking about, type in Michael D. Higgins and Forbes, see what comes up there. Really interesting. Very interesting. So anyway, President Higgins, now, this is a mock-up, by the way, just so you know. Just so you know. There's a joke, all right? But he has come out in support of the children being told about things that they shouldn't know about at all. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. I don't think any of these places have the right to be doing these things. This was a conversation that was always understood to be had by parents. And if not, because if parents didn't want to, you found out eventually. You either found out through your mates or you just found out through life in itself in general. You know, I've seen a lot of people as well too talking about, you know, young people having children on it that there's nothing better in life, and then they're trying to look at it as something negative. I saw a video there, Seth Rogen, who's had a disastrous last couple of days with releasing the trailer of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It didn't go well, and is now out there talking on Diary of a CEO. If you have ever seen that guy, he's got some absolute wall he's been on it. But Seth Rogen's like, "I'm happy that I don't have any kids. I'm 40. Okay, that's great. But here's the thing. A lot of people out there get angry at that. They get angry at the likes of Chelsea Handler. That's another one. These are Americans, by the way, just so you know. You know, I think she's a 50-year-old woman, is she? Used to go out with 50 Cent. And she's like, "I'm happy. I can go skiing whenever I want because I have no kids." Sound. That's grand. You're not angry? No? The fact that you're not going to have any more influence over anyone else going forward, that's pretty good. But that's why they go to entertainment. That's what I'm getting at here. They are trying to have a long-standing influence over you and future generations with the stuff that they're putting out through the entertainment because they're not procreating themselves. Very simple. Woman in Cork fined after being found at a beach outside her 5k limit. So this is Thursday the 14th of January 2021. This is why you can't forget these things, by the way, and these things happened. This is why likes of the Gardaí, like, it's very difficult. And look, as I said at the top of the show, I'm a fan and I'm a supporter of law and order. This organisation as a whole, though, it's in serious bother. It's in serious bother because of all the things that they've been on the wrong side of history over the last number of years, and this was one of them. Like, this can't be forgotten about. They did this Jerusalem dance, this nonsense here, but these are the type of things that happened. And there was court cases that were had where people were brought up, and there was a guard actually trying to argue that someone was 4.6 kilometers away from their home. I'm trying to argue for that person to either have a fine or potentially a jail sentence. Like, these things happened, and not enough members of that organization stood up and said, "Hang on here," because why it's important and why I'm saying that is because you're going to have more talk now in the media about these people saying that they feel understaffed, that they're undervalued, that they're underpaid, the rosters aren't fair. And guess what? The large majority of the population will tell you, good enough, you. That's where you're at. A lot of the population now don't feel any sort of way towards it. A lot of the population now have been seeing the likes of the videos coming out from Ballyferma and they're like, good enough, you. Like, it's a stark contrast to what would have happened a couple of years ago. Because now, more than ever, I talk to people all the time and they say the same to me. They're like, years ago, if I seen a guard in trouble or whatever like that, I'd give them a bit of help. Now they won't. Now if they seen them in trouble, they just pass them by. Like, and that's also added into the fact that your numbers are reducing. You've got people resigning at an all-time high. I'd say that there are people that have a bit of common sense, I'd say. And then you've got people then that are being inducted into this organization that are diversity hires. And then you'll see what's going to come next because they've been clear about that. There's a video that I'm going to show you here tonight. Confirmation of the fact that they are just bringing people in and they're going to be the police. And I'm going to say this plainly. I wouldn't obey a foreigner in any uniform, no matter what sort of uniform they wore. That won't be happening with me. And I'm sure an awful lot of the other people in this country, and I feel that the large majority of people should feel the same. Because it's all right to say no. It's absolutely okay to say no. And it's absolutely okay to say, I'm not having that. We've done this hundreds of years ago. We did this with the British. When the British came in here and entitled themselves to all sorts of ranks and names and attributions. And the people said, no, not going to have that. And they were right. And the same thing is going to happen here. And it's going to happen again. But it's going to happen on a different scale because now it's becoming more and more clear and easy to see who, beforehand, with the British, they did look like it. Now these people, an awful lot of them don't. So you're going to see all sorts happen in the next couple of years. And as I say to you, and I will keep saying to you, it's cause and effect. And cause and effect is going to talk about all sorts of instances of things that will happen. And what I mean by that is, you see the government and various others that are talking about Islamophobes and all that. You have no clue. Like, people out there usually attribute that and say, oh, they're trying to blame Irish people. I know plenty of people that are Eastern European and I know what they think about certain other people. And I tell you what, they're far more hardline than I am. I mean, seriously. I have friends that are from different countries. Look, and I don't need to say that. I mean, this is the thing that you don't need to say it either. I have friends from different countries and all that. And here's the thing. The friends that are from the likes of Eastern Europe, they ain't no messing with them. They really need to. And they ain't changing their opinions. They can't be shamed or guilted or name called into changing their opinions. They are set. They are set. And when they want to talk about incidents that are going to happen and will happen in years to come, and they already have, like City West is proof of that. And even the left themselves, of course, because it's always nice to just bring that in and say, hey, you guys agree with us as well too. When multiple different people from multiple different areas with different creeds and all that are in the one area, they ain't going to get on. It's just not going to happen. It's just not the way it is. Look at what's happened in Sweden. Look what happened in Paris, and in particular France in general, and obviously the UK as well at large, particularly England. They don't get on. Now, this is great news for the likes of organisations. Ones that are out there that are banking on more and more people because then they earn money from that. Homeless. Look at the likes of the comments and the articles that are coming out. There's asylum seekers asleep on the street. And they're in tents. Send them home. But you can bet your bottom dollar there's people there rubbing their hands together going, loads of work with the homeless. Well, how long have you been working with the homeless people? I've been working with the homeless people all my life. How long is that? 60 years? Have you fixed it? No. Oh, it seems like you've done a bad job there, didn't it? And not only that, you've got politicians there that are in since the 80s, the 90s. And what have they got to show for that? Nothing. And they've been hanging around since that time. That's another thing that has to be looked at. Look at the length of time that Micheál Martin is hanging around. Far too long. And what has he got to show for it? One of the worst Taoiseachs, if not the worst Taoiseach of all time. And then Leo Varadkar, another one. What has he got to show for it? What have any of these politicians got to show for what they've done? Nothing. And all they've done is earn money. That's why I keep saying to people, run for these positions. This is great energy to see because here's the thing. You have people now, and this is what has been done for the last few years, and I'll give you a quick spoiler alert as to what's happening with America. It's different here in Ireland. America has been guilted into accepting nonsense and been on the back foot of things like that, instead of people going, yeah, no, you're not wanted here. And that's what's happening now in Ireland. People are starting to go, yeah, you're not wanted here. No interest in that. Go home. Get out. And that's what's frightening the likes of the left, for example, and indeed these people in these NGOs and these organisations. Because, like I said before, if you have an area that decides, hang on, I don't fancy becoming a minority in my own area, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell these people they're not welcome. And not only am I going to tell them they're not welcome, again, as I keep saying to people, respectfully, peacefully, other people are going to do the same. So I think that this is an important movement, and I think it's going to continue to go, because when they're talking about these things, by the way, there was an article, I have a think down below, where there's a guy that came from Afghanistan, as far as I remember, might be a different continent or a different country perhaps, but this guy was claiming to be a miner. He's, you know what I mean, people would be like, are you talking about a miner that's like in there digging for coal? No, he was claiming to be someone that was under 18. He wasn't. So if you think, and again, I keep saying that to people, you think that these people are going to play fairly. You think that the people that are waving all of this on in are going to be upfront and honest with you about these things. They're not. They're the biggest cheats you'll ever meet. Career lawyers. Yeah, we'll fix that. We'll get that done. No problem at all. And it never gets done. Procrastination all the time. So what I'm saying to you is this. When they're telling you women and children, I can bet your bottom dollar on this. Well, I bet my own bottom dollar on this one. Women and children. Why are they doing this? And why are they starting to come with this rhetoric of, the Doubtfire is not that? For that very reason, I identify as an 8-year-old. And then someone's in. They're in. I identify as a woman. You're in. You know what I mean? So this is why this whole idea, and I've seen it from certain people online as well, and it's starting to be an approach that's been taken. Some of these people are 6 months behind where I'm at. They're like, I still want to look like I want to help people out in other countries and that refugees are welcome. No. Because these people have shown you time after time after time that they are not interested in the truth. They are certainly not interested in upholding law and order. They're more interested in scamming and making sure that you have more people in this country that are going to outweigh the native population. That's a bad idea. So, not welcome. Mysterio here. This is a great line here from Mysterio. People need to believe, and nowadays they believe anything. And that's what had happened over the last couple of years, that they would believe anything. And see, this is what has happened now with this whole shift in ideology. They've attempted to take on religion, particularly the Catholic religion, out of schools, and now they want to replace it with something else. This is the new cult, by the way, insofar as when I talk about that, it is a cult that they are bringing forward. There has been many over the last number of years, as you know, the likes of, listen, I'm not going to just slate other religions or anything like that, because I personally believe that there's the one true God, and it's the one that I believe in, and being a Catholic, that's what I firmly believe in. However, other ones that I'm like, nah, that's definitely not it. Look, I might go on in Scientology, for example. That's pure and utter nonsense, okay? In my view, my humble opinion. But some people believe in that, and that's fine. However, you've got people that believed in the last couple of years that still believe in that sort of stuff. And because they have had less belief, and indeed, you're seeing a shift as well, too, from people that are like, have been moved away from the Catholic Church. I saw a woman there during the week, and she said, with what is going on, she said, I might do even a video on, although I'm not sure if this person or anything like that would want to be out there, because I know obviously you put these things on Twitter and they get seen, but maybe not in the video. You know, it seems like a woman that realised too late. Anyway, what she said was, I have my children in an educate together school, and I thought it was a good idea because it was gone away from religion and non-denominational. Keep an eye on that, by the way. They're trying to push this non-denominational amongst the country. That's for a specific reason. And she was like, now seeing what's going on now, where they're introducing this stuff hand over fist and they're announcing pronouns, she's like, I wish I never done that. So she's seeing in real time the errors of our ways, and that's going to become more prevalent too going forward. But like I said, people need to believe, and nowadays they believe anything. There's people that are wholeheartedly out there that believe that the Doubtfire is, it's no problem at all and there's no issue there. Check into that and have a look at it, and there's some wild videos that are out there as well too from people that got into it. A lot of people seem to think that this is just a phase that, you know when you were growing up, I don't know what they would have been called, maybe in your era or something like that, they'd be rockers or they would have been someone, say for example, that would have had haircuts like a flock of seagulls or whatever. There's names for that. New Romantics, was it? That was the ones in the 80s, was it? Mum and Dad always talk about them. But when I was growing up, it was goths, people that wore the heavy metal gear and all that, and they had the black eye liner and everything like that, and the finger paint and all that. And those dudes and girls, none of them wearing that stuff now. That was a phase, and that was a trend. And that's what's happening now with these things now. It's a phase, a trend, and they believe these things. Look at Angelina Jolie's daughter. Like, she wore suits up until the age of something like 12 years of age. Now you look at her there from like a couple of weeks ago where she was at a premiere and she's in a dress. So, and again, tomboys used to be a thing when I was growing up. Like, I knew plenty of girls that would have hung around with the lads and would have played football and like that. And then you see them now, and some of those girls turn out really well. But what I'm saying is, in nowadays, some people believe in, oh, well, if you're a tomboy, you must feel that way. And this is what I'm saying. And it's a multi-million euro industry to get someone onto stuff and change them up and all that and deal with all the other issues. And so many businesses and organizations involved. That's what I'm saying to you. You need to keep an eye. I'll just keep bringing this meme up. I love it. That's absolutely brilliant. So let's keep going anyway. We'll keep going into this here. Mysterio is a good one. Constitutional change needed to provide more multi-denominational skills, says education chief. No. These people keep messing around with the Constitution and they keep talking about it as if it's something flippant. It absolutely isn't flippant at all. And this is, like I said, the only thing that helps people to be accountable in the positions that they're in. The point manager said they're sending me something there. It comes from this fella, Rory Hearn. This is a guy that's been getting a lot of airtime lately from the left. And he says, I have 80k salary, yet still can't afford the rent. I'm facing eviction because fixed 6-year contract is ending. I've nowhere to rent. Made multiple inquiries to find somewhere to rent since July 22. Got 3 viewings and 62 people came for those viewings. Reality of the eviction ban. The guy underneath the bin says, didn't you say you wanted more refugees, more people who need homes? Shouldn't they be housed first, or did you suddenly forget? So all of the refugees, welcome crowd, are forced to find out about what's going on. No surprise. But that's what happens when you get dipsticks like that. And that's why dipsticks are given the airtime and they're pushed on social media and all these other places, because they're not giving you the reality of the situation and they're just useful idiots. But going back to this here, constitutional change needed to provide more multi-denominational schools, says education chief. Almost 90% of primary schools are under the control of Catholic Church. Do you know how many people are Catholic here in this country? It's over 80%. And by the way, when you start messing around with this, because you've let so many people in from the likes of Eastern Europe, those people don't mess around with that. They all believe wholeheartedly. And they're there too. So I would say it's even more than 84%. I would say it's probably in around 80 to 86%. Well, 86 to 87%, I should say. I'd say is in and around that. And you'd say, Ninja, how many of the rest is made up? There's about 10% that was say that they don't believe in anything. So that they're saying that they're atheists. And then the rest of it then is made by others. But here's the thing with this non-denominational stuff, this is a back foot that they want you to take. This is a back step that they want you to take so that they can willingly bring more people in to overtake people. That's a red flag. That's 100% a red flag. And this is all moving towards what they're talking about with this Agenda 2030, by the way. So the idea, and just so you know, it's like, for example, if you have, we'll just say, a chicken coop, and you open the door of the chicken coop, and you know the fox is outside, and you just leave it open and say, oh, no, we don't mind. Come on in. We used to have gates for the chickens to protect them, and the large majority of the things that are in here, in fact, all of them that are in here are chickens. We're just going to leave the gate opened. And we're going to say the gate's not needed. Forget about that. The fox is going to come straight in. You know what I mean? Very simple. And this is a country that has morals and principles that are in line with the Catholic faith. You may or may not agree, but that is a fact. And not only that, you've got people that are far more tolerant here in this country. I mean, I'll tell you what, I have to give an awful lot of kudos to Qatar for what they did. I thought what Qatar did was marvellous for that World Cup. And from them, according to them, there was no criminal activity then. I don't know if there's a correlation there, but certainly there's no messing going on over there. Crime rates and I should say on the whole, are very low. So I don't know about you, but this sort of open doors policies is a bad idea. And I think this is a very stern warning that you're getting right now from these people, that they are going to try and change the constitution because they want to continually take away God. And what they want to do is they want to take away your ability to call on God, because they want more incidents with the likes of people like Enoch Borg, for example, and for them not to have a leg to stand on. They want this compelled speech. That's exactly what they want. And non-denominational is the way to go about that, because whilst they don't realize it right now, it's going to be the same for Muslim people very soon. So they're going to target the Catholics now. They targeted the Muslims. They did. And this is what I'm saying to you. They targeted the Muslims when the World Cup happened. Because did you see the behaviour of all of these woke corporations, the likes of BBC? BBC behaved disgracefully. And ITV and all these places. Oh, it's terrible that they're having her in Qatar. Are you going to show the matches? Oh, yeah, of course, we'll be over there doing live coverage. So you're not really standing beside your morals and principles there, you know. And not only that, then, you're still then trying to act like out when you're over there. So that happened, and that is a warning as well too, because those people are going to start being pushed too, because that's the next talking point, is that why is that country not waving any of these things? They're trying to break them down. You see, the rainbow flag is modern day pirate flag. So as you know, the Jolly Roger, for example, is a black flag, and it has the skull and crossbones that's on it there. Well, you know that, but this thing, the rainbow flag, is the complete opposite of it. And look at the countries around the world where that stuff is planted and see what's going on in those countries. It ain't planted in the likes of Gettr. You know what I mean? I don't know about that, but certainly you look at that and think about it. Seen some great videos as well too that are coming from America, where they have decided to paint this flag on the likes of the road, and lads are doing skids and donuts all over, and the kids are even doing skids on their bicycles. It's great to see. Absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, Microsoft acts 60 more jobs as part of global cutbacks. Now, when it comes to the tech sector losing jobs, this is something that is interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see what way this pans out, because you've got a lot of people that are economic migrants that came across to this country to be in these jobs, so they're going to move on now. So that'll be interesting to see where things go from there, because they probably have a lot of vacant properties, and what are they going to do then? Oh, that's right, they want to shove people into those properties and keep the stem, the flow of cash, as to say, going. And that's all they want to do. And I mean, they've been upfront about that. You've got Roderick O'Gorman there, by the way, that's saying, what was it, €1 million that he's allocated to the Alphabet Group? It was supposed to be, who was it supposed to be allocated to? Was it supposed to be allocated to the Travellers? I think Peter Casey came out and said something about that. It's like, why would you allocate $1 million to them anyway? And that's even to go back on what I was saying about Eileen Flynn. I googled that and I was like, it's just for the laws. And I said, like, googled it, and I said, how many travellers are in Ireland? It's between 29,000 and 40,000. And that's what people are also starting to see too, by the way, when you're talking about elections going forward. Appeal to the majority. What's been happening in the last few years is people, and at large as well too on YouTube, have been trying to appeal to the minority. And actually, as a matter of fact, they've actually, the minority, or the majority I should say, have switched them off. Like when I see someone that's talking about things and they're like, oh yeah, and you know, we should let, no, hang on here. The majority here don't feel that way. We don't agree with that. So that's another thing that's starting to make a comeback as well. I've seen it there, that What podcast there. There's a lad there that's on that. He's on Twitter called Sovereign Bra. He's been very good, based individual. And the same thing, it's just like, why would we start to try and welcome things in that we don't agree with? You know, it's the other way around. For too long we've been hanging on to these people and saying, hang on, we need to appease everyone, and these people need to be seen and represented in every media. No, they don't. Absolutely not. Same way when you're talking about Wakanda and all of that, you want to say Black Panther, it's an all black cast. It's like the new Creed movie. Oh, it's written and directed by Michael B. Jordan. It's Jonathan Majors, Tessa Thompson. Oh, that's the same Tessa Thompson that didn't want to work with white people and didn't want to be in a room full of men. Sure, it's not. Yeah, okay. Hard passing that one there. And that's the way I operate now when it comes down to time. Do you say silly stuff, I'm not going to pay to. Shazam too. They're like, just so you know, guys, Pedro that's in that there, he's actually a part of the rainbow community. He's gay. Sweet. I'm not going to go and see that movie. There you go. Why would I go to that? You know what I mean? So anyway, We keep going here. AGSI to hold day of action in roster dispute. The Association of Garda Sergeants and Inspectors will hold what is called a day of action next Monday in a row with Garda management over proposed new rosters. What's the day of action doing? Nothing. Well, PTSB rates raises fixed mortgage and deposit rates. Move marks third fixed term mortgage rate increase by banks since ECB started to hike official borrowing cost last July. So not a year later, just to be clear on that, this is the third time there's been an increase from PTSB. This is the headline. This is what I'm saying to you. We can talk about all this other nonsense that's here, and that's what it is. A lot of it's nonsense. I'll be upfront with you about that. It's fun to laugh and point it out, and it's all linked. But this is the real story. This is a massive story, along with the one up above there, where that clown is there saying that if people come in here without documents that they can work, that's insane. That's absolutely out there. Is that not treason? Is that not what that is? Certainly not having any sort of responsibility. They dragged the Borks out of court. They did for way less. And then you have this third fixed term mortgage rate. So they're actually taking more money off people now. For what reason? Because you understand that there's an issue in a place that most people never even heard of before. What place is that? Well, the blue and yellow flag waving country. Yeah. Don't give a rat's about what's happening over there. And most people don't either. What has that got to do with you increasing rates? Well, it's the financial climate that we live. No. That's nonsense, is what you're talking. What you're doing is you're taking more money off people and you're putting more people into poverty. That's exactly what you're doing. And the same people that have benefited over being bailed out beforehand are the same ones that are benefiting now and taking more money off people. It's absolutely disgraceful. And people should be hopping up and down about this. And again, look at the fact that banks are withdrawn from the country and they're leaving you with less and less choice. Let's not forget that AIB only a couple of months ago attempted a cashless society play. Let's not forget about that. They did that too. And that's why this Elon Musk thing is bubbling in the background. Because Musk is out there. Now, here's the thing, and like I said, until people are not hamstrung anymore on the likes of Twitter, I'm still super wary, and I'll be upfront with you about that. I'm still super wary of Musk and what the plans are going forward. But he indicated this week that he's thinking about setting up a financial institution linked to Twitter. Now, you and I both know, and I'm telling you this now as well, when I see that, and I see the things that are happening, like the security checks and all that he's talking about, and all that, this linking of you to a digital persona and identity, it's the same thing. It's an online profile, it's a biometric, whatever you might call it. It's a digital identity. And this is what's happening, and it's moving that way as well too. And he's coming across as being this help and all that. But like I said, there's still people being hamstrung. Look at some of the rules as well too on that platform. Nonsensical stuff still there. Like I seen there recently, they like to call when they're saying that someone's former name, if you use that, that's something that can get you suspended. And these people like to be out there to be like, yeah, you have no problem calling Anakin Skywalker Darth Vader, and like you won't call me Marie. My name used to be Mike, but you won't call me Marie now. Oh, stop these people, you know what I mean? It's absolutely unbelievable. I'm liking myself to a Star Wars character, so you should understand. Yeah, I understand that I do, but listen, Anakin Skywalker didn't just decide that he was going to be a female. Oh, stop. But like I said, 3 times in a year that they decided to hike this sort of stuff, it's absolutely unbelievable. And the fact that people ain't giving out about that more says a lot. But I'll highlight these things. Listen, this lad is bigger than Tiernan, like, and I mean, that says an awful lot, doesn't it? Tiernan has aged 50 years in the last 4 weeks. And I mean, what a decline. What a decline from Tommy Tiernan. One of Ireland's sharpest. And I mean, listen, I think he's still a very funny comedian. I still think his past work is still very funny. I think he's a good comedian. I think what he has done in terms of work has been excellent. However, what has happened in the last number of weeks is this guy has just capitulated. And it happens because he signed the contract. and we all said it at the time, and we all say it in the future, that any time you sign a contract with any of these companies, you're under the thumb. It's like, for example, what Crowder was talking about even recently when he was talking about a contract that was floated to him by a certain company. And you've seen what's happened to Jordan B. Peterson recently. Jordan B. Peterson's just gone because he's under the thumb. Whereas other creators are starting to look at that and say, hang on here for a second, you're calling both sides of the story here and you're differentiating it just slightly, but you're still going with the same stuff. Like you see the more, I would say, Republican side of things, they're out there promoting an individual that likes to call himself Blair White. That's a dude. And these people are out there parading that. So it's not worked with the other side, but they're trying to attempt it now and say, oh, they're normalising it. I thought, we've no interest in that sort of stuff being normalised. Zero. Whatever you do behind closed doors is up to you. Once you're a legally consenting aged adult, fire heads, whatever you're doing. But don't come out here and decide, I know, this is how it is. No chance. And you got this fella here, and it says discusses pronouns. See, it's going towards that move now. Pronouns, not that more compelled speech and more nonsense. I'm a she whore, and you have to take me seriously. No, that's absolutely ridiculous because my eyes and my ears suggest, along with my brain, completely differently. For centuries, for thousands of years, we have used our eyes and our ears to determine what is real in front of us. And these people are actively telling you now with a straight face to your face, you're wrong. And you could be wrong. That's unbelievable. Tommy Kiernan Show, I am a doubtfire and sometimes I get it wrong. So this person is actually admitting that they figure out themselves to be something different at different times by accident. Well, whoops, made an accident there. I tell you what, it's absolutely shocking to see the attempt at normalisation of this here. I mean, I talk to the likes of my old lad and all that, and then obviously my mother as well too. And I mean, people have an older generation, and I'm like, look at this carry on, and they're like, yeah, this carry on went down when we were younger, but not to the extent that's going on now. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, but this is like, this is coming out like mental. And they're like, I know, yeah, it's gotten a bit away. And I said, yeah, but it's been facilitated now for the last number of years, And they're like, oh, I 100% agree. But it's continually being facilitated, and that's how it's been facilitated. It's been facilitated by TV shows like this, and Tiernan has completely capitulated because once that joke came out, now people might say it was a setup, and that was done on purpose so that you could bring these wokies on. But what people have noticed, and the viewership has declined over 60,000 since he made that apology. Now, what the media will try and make you believe is that that happened. The decline happened because of what he said. No, it didn't. Do you know when the decline happened? The decline happened after he apologised. That's what happened. And in the meantime, you see a guy called Scott Adams, a fella who created Dilbert, and you see what he said. He has gained millions of followers, millions of subscribers, and has earned a lot of money since then. He's been dropped from various different labels and dropped from various different places. This is a guy that creates these Dilbert cartoons. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but quoted a poll that said very serious things, particularly certain people that have been caught doing all sorts over the last few years. What would we say? 6% of America that commit 50% of the crime. Would we say that? I think that's a fair comparison. And 50% of those people decided that it wasn't okay to be a certain color. He was like, "That's not good." 20 million people. They're like, no, it's not good. And then he's like, you're in danger. And because he did that, all of these different places decided to drop him. They were like, oh no, we're not going to work with you anymore. And he said, yeah, cool, I'm just going to have my release and that's it. And he has actually gained more influence since then. It's been absolutely hilarious to watch because the thing is now, this day and age of doing that to people is over. And people are more interested in it now than ever. Like, it's brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. But what they're not interested in is seeing someone capitulate and then roll out wokies onto the show because that's all that's happened since then. And people are just switching off in droves. It's got to do with the facts that what he said at the gig. No. It's got to do with the apologising and the people he's brought on since then. That's what it's got to do with. Be honest. 55-year-old TD takes guard at fitness test after calling it for it to be easier. Low standards. So, hey, two noodle-armed employees of a lamestream outlet that were there a week or two ago that were able to pass it. These are people that have admitted in the article that they are unfit. they were able to pass it. But this guy says, no, we call for it to be lower. Why? Like, this is not a good way to go about things at all. Now, what's your opinion on it and what's mine? Well, my opinion of it is this: if they get people into the place from different countries that are meek and they're weak and all that, that they can put them in there. And why do they want weak and meek individuals? Well, here's the thing: if you've got people in there, particularly fellas with low testosterone, a lot of them are bitter, a lot of them jealous, a lot of them very upset at the world. And you see it from the left-hand side politicians. You see it like your Paul Morphy's and all these people. They're the type of people that they want in uniform. Those are the type of guys that they want there. And they want them to go, oh, you said that? That's shocking. We're going to write you up for that. And you're going to go to jail for what you said. They don't want fellas that are out there that are like, hang on here for a second. There's testosterone flowing through me. And I think that's absolute nonsense. So you see the moves that are being made here, and you're actively making an attempt to make it lesser than what it is. Then it's just bringing down the standards again and again and again and again. You're not going to get high quality individuals then in these places. Jim O'Callaghan has been calling for the physical competency test to be made easier and the upper age limit to be scrapped. I mean, silly stuff, guys. Silly stuff, guys. I'm turning into Emma Dunphy there. Guys, silly stuff. There's another meme I'll show you a couple of days. The government is just a business with no incentive to deliver agreed upon services because their customers pay them under threat of incarceration. They've been talking an awful lot about the TV license in the last week or so as well, and that's fairly linked into that because they're like, oh my God, you guys out there are not paying for TV licenses. Well, here's the thing. The large amount of people that are out there that are responding to your articles that are saying these things are saying, why would we pay to be told lies? We don't watch your station anyway, so why should we pay for it? We funded it for a long time. No thanks. Keep going here. Dan's mixtape put this up. This is a brilliant one. He says, was thinking of applying. Imagine being a fly on the wall when the HR department clicked on the channel link. But here's the thing, and something that I noted from this. We'll go through it and I'll tell you what I thought. Dublin Jobs, Job Alert.ie, RTE Radio 1 are looking to recruit a reporter presented to work across programmes reflecting and challenging the social, economic and political life of Ireland. The job is based in Dublin and the successful candidate will work on a variety of programmes, including Drive Time and Today with Claire Bourne. Now, forgive me if you will, but weren't the media out there not 2 weeks ago and they were saying fellas that are on and ladies that are on different social media apps and on YouTube, the fact that they were able to make money, were they not out there criticising that and saying that that was a bad thing and the fact that they want money to be taken off people for reporting, I don't know, the truth? And then they're out here now that have had serious issues with telling people all sorts of out there stuff, particularly Claire Bourne, and this is what they're paying. Now, I don't know about you, but when people are regularly wrong about what they're talking about, I don't think that that sort of stuff should be happening. And this is what I'm saying to you about the hypocrisy of the left as well too. Verifiable evidence comes out, facts have come out and all that. None of them chirping at them saying, hang on here for a second, you're on way too much money and you've been telling lies. There's no repercussion for that. Instead, what these people on the left are doing going, I want to keep my head buried in the sand and you people waking me up. I don't like it. I don't like it. Like Morpheus, what Morpheus says in the Matrix as well too, people will fight to defend it, to defend the system, because they don't want to be pulled out of the Matrix. That's exactly what you're saying. An successful candidate should have clear presentation and written skills, an ability to communicate and generate and research original ideas, and be able to make engaging digital content for online audio platforms and social media. 54,000 to 69,900, nearly 70 grand per annum. And these are places that have regularly been wrong. Now, Dan's mixtape, among others that are out there, have done stellar work. And this stuff here, like you're saying, haven't done stellar work, and there's what they're getting. Something else, isn't it? Make you think. You see this here, Sacred Cows of Ireland's scam response called into question by softly spoken medic. Now, of course, none of these people put the head above the parapet over the last couple of years. They'll try and do some history revisionism now to say, oh, I did my best. I tried to say things. I said things in a roundabout way at the time. Now, this guy is still into making it mandatory. The jabroni. The jabroni that, at best will do nothing, and at worst we'll see excess start to rise. That's what we're seeing here now. The Irish Times says the volume of testing done was a virtue signal. Testing generated a mass of anxiety and a mass of waste and made some people very wealthy. Was that not a theory there a couple of years ago? No. Is that not what we all said? We all said this. These guys are 3 years behind. The media, typically, are 3 years behind you and me. Like, unreal, innit? But these people didn't want to be here in this position. They've been forced into this position. But like I said, this guy is still calling for it to be mandatory. Isolation policies deprive dependent people of adequate care. The evidence of 2-meter social distancing was very poor or non-existent. It is very difficult to see how widespread mask use made any difference, while their day-to-day use was useless and hugely wasteful. So it begins. This is the beginning of it. Stuff that they wanted to hide for 75 years, the cracks are beginning to show. And the cracks are beginning to show, and how I know they are is because you've seen politicians already start to posture themselves. It is going to be super interesting to see what way this pans out in the next couple of years. Like I said before, unless you hold serious positions and do something about it in those positions, these people won't be held accountable. They're hoping for that to be the case. They're hoping for themselves to be getting off and for them to not have to worry about anything. It is imperative that you run for these positions and make sure that these people are held accountable. The one thing you can say about the Yanks is, even though, again, question marks are around them, it does seem like that they may hold people accountable. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But this is the beginning of it now. This is the beginning of it for these people. And I'm looking forward to all of the blaming and the finger pointing that'll go on over there. News Talk were out there. They were talking about the weather and saying the weather is something to be super duper worried about. And there you go. You've got 10:05 a.m. And this was, at the time, I don't remember what time it was, 8,000 views. We'll just round it down. 7 likes. In 1 hour, I got 9 with 107 likes. Or 107 views. Can't speak tonight. What's going on? 107 views. So a fraction of the amount. And that is a real world situation where this Gonzo production is getting more likes than a mainstream outlet with less views. That's interesting, isn't it? I always like to point those things out. This is what's been going on in the UK. So this is going to start happening here now in Ireland. I suggest that we're going to start seeing things like this. And if we do, that's going to be exciting. Matt Hancock says, we frightened the pants off everyone with the new strain, but the complication with that Brexit is taking the top line. Damon over here says, yep, that's what will get proper behaviour change. Now, the one thing about this is, and I will say this, some people have been suggesting, it might not be real because some of the spelling and all that. These people have proven to you that they ain't that intelligent. When do we deploy the new very? Been thinking more about this and think we need to be more cautious. The strain that is, think you made the point earlier, but you need to keep schools off paperwork /agenda. Yes, worth doing a bit about no leaking at the top, I think. Big risk with the very right-wing papers go for a new push for let it rip on the basis the strategy is undermined. That's why we reassure on that. These people knew. And this is what's happening now. It's starting to get out there and there's serious questions. And for anyone that's out there that's just like, no, this is a nothing burger, Sky News are reporting on this. And that's when you know things are at a serious level insofar as like the media cannot ignore it anymore, where they're like, oh no, they're like, this is out here. Now we have to actually hold this person accountable and we're in on it. Article's out and that's it. It's out in Sky News and I was like, whoa. I've been talking to people over the last couple of weeks and I've been saying to them what they thought of this. People that were fully in on it, by the way, and they're like, oh, I haven't paid no attention to that. You were one of the very people, you still are one of the very people that's still going on about this sort of stuff, and they're actively telling you, showing you in this thing that they're like, we're going to play this in a certain way. Interesting times. 7th of March 2023, cancer rates are on the rise. So Ireland is, well, I should say, has the third highest cancer rate in the world. This little island has the third highest cancer rate in the world. No energy going towards that, but they're on the rise here. So this, again, tunes in with what we've been saying as well. Now, I know as well as you do that misdiagnoses, lack of screening, these are all things that are repercussions and effects from the last few years. I mean, I've heard more people now than ever that have missed checks or missed screenings, and then they're finding out now that they're in serious bother. or they're in a stage where they're like, okay, there's something that can be done, but this wouldn't have progressed to the stage it was at if I had been checked out beforehand. So this is all starting to come a cropper now, and you've got them that are out there, the likes of the media and the politicians that are like, well, there were some things to be learned, and it is terrible and that. It was never about people's health. If it was to be sorting out this cancer thing tomorrow, Ireland was at the top of the European Union table for cancer incidence in 2020, with a 26% rate above the average. So this is before even all this kicked off. Can you imagine what it's going to be like when it gets to the stage of looking at years 21, 22, 23, 24 even, I would say, because we are into the third month of this year and it's going to be 24 before you know it. That's according to estimates in a recent OECD report revealed at an event on the future of cancer care in Ireland. Speaking to News Talk Breakfast this morning was Rachel Morrow, Director of Advocacy at the Irish Cancer Society. What about that? Has that done anything? Have they had any headway, made any headway with these things? No, they don't seem to have done anything at all. Loads of charities and all like that, loads of things like that, but have they ever made headway on it? No, they haven't done anything at all. Really weird, that one, isn't it? It's funny how they can find an inoculation for what is the common cold over the last couple of years there and push that out now, no problem at all. But when it comes to this decades worth of studies, it's nothing to be found there, guys. Like, that was a big thing too, by the way, when it came to the jabronis. It's like, okay, you've settled that down and you've got that sorted after a year. You've isolated that after a year and you know what to do and you know how to fix it and you know how to get rid. Yeah. Okay. How is it then that I know people that do the same thing when it comes to the flu every year and they still end up getting sick anyway? It's strange, isn't it? Yeah. And that's decades worth in those ones. Yeah, for sure. What about cancer? How about that? How about preventing that and making sure there's a cure for that? No, if you haven't had any breakthroughs on that now. Okay. What about, for example, the papers that are out there and they're still out there now, just to talk about something that's obviously related as well too, because a lot of people suggested that the likes of amalgam, that's in the likes of tooth fillings, they're suggesting that has something to do with it also. What about that? Have you had any breakthroughs or any headway in the dental industry? No. Okay. What story with that there? Oh yeah, they said there in 2002 they could regrow teeth and all that. What happened with that? Didn't. Don't keep asking questions with relation to that. There's trials going on right now. Okay, right. That's interesting. That's super interesting. There is. We'll see how things go from there. Well, they may or may not work. No. There's people there that have proven that they can grow a new tooth there within 9 weeks. The papers that are on it. And there's other people then, for example, I think in Japan or China, and they're like, oh, we have a toothpaste that can prevent all this sort of stuff. What's happening there? Nothing. Why? Well, it's what we want to do. We want to make sure people are able to keep paying us for what we want. Okay, but listen, hang on. Time out here for a second, because you're not thinking. You can still make profit off of that stuff there, though. So why not? Well, that's not good for us. Why is that not good for us? Because the same people there are telling you that these things are great and that these breakthroughs are great. The same people then are telling you that there should be less people around the place. Like I said, you keep an eye on who's running the show. It's real clear. This comes from the Irish Muslim Council. Now, there's a video coming on this one here, guys, but the Catholic Church came out and then the Muslim gang here came out. So you have the likes of politicians and media members that have been in on the Catholic Church over the last week and a half, and now the Muslims have come out and they're like, yikes, because everyone's in there like, yeah, do the Muslim next, do that group next. Let's see if you say anything there. The Irish Muslim Council supports the position of the Catholic Primary Schools Management Association about the teaching of gender identity issues in primary schools. The Irish Muslim Council believes it is not appropriate to teach primary school children such a complex and contested topic, particularly when there is a lack of scientific consensus about the best way to treat children with dysphoria. The Irish Muslim Council believes every child in primary school should be supported, respected, and treated with consideration. We think it is unacceptable to teach children about gender identity under the pretext of teaching them about diversity. So here we go, guys. This is going to be an interesting one now because, like I said beforehand, you've got these people out here that take this stuff real serious, and then you have the likes of Sinn Féin who have been on both sides of the fence, along with the other political parties. They turn up in June, and then they'll turn up with these guys down in Croke Park. It's going to be fascinating to see how this stuff goes. Now, this is something I referenced not too long ago. This is a fantastic meme. Make sure you take it down. Make sure you send it to as many people as possible as well. And anytime that these people are like, I thought you were a Christian, I thought you were a Catholic, how come you not turned the other cheek? Yeah, no, this is what our Lord and Savior was doing. If anyone ever asked you what would he do, remind him that flipping over tables and chasing people with where an Indiana Jones is within the realm of possibilities. Things that happened. So there you go. Now let's keep going. I'm trying to zoom through here tonight. I know I've been trying to catch up with last week. 2 hours now flying in at this stage. You know what I've been saying to you before, trying to get this stuff in and under the 2 hour mark, but there's just so much this week as well. So this is what I was talking about. Jose Muniz, probably not saying that correctly, but Jose is here in Ireland, and this is what he said. So this has got 27,000 views, 607 likes. So like you saw up above there, you've got some mainstream media outlets there that are getting as many views as that, and they're getting far less likes. But this is what's going on. All the foreign Europeans like me that I talk to feel the same. The things that made us fall in love with Ireland have disappeared in 7 years. The identity is gone. The emptiness is at the doors. Now, when I got to Spain, and I forgot to France, previously France, Spain just doesn't seem to put up with this stuff at all, really. If I got to Spain, I'm experiencing Spanish culture and seeing the large majority of people being there, being Spanish, and I'm going, oh yeah, that's great, you know. I'm not expecting to go over there and see a hodgepodge of all sorts of people and go, nobody's speaking Spanish around here. That's quite something. Not seeing any of that. But you're seeing people in the likes of Poland and other Eastern European countries that are like, no, not having any of this here at all. They're not bending to it. And so they've stayed very strong in their nations. They haven't become a minority. But here in Ireland, they're attempting this. They're attempting this minority business. And even foreign people are starting to see it. That's not good. When it's bad enough that the natives have noticed it, right? It's bad enough, and it's that critical mass when it comes to that. But when you foreign people that are noticing this is a serious issue. And this guy seems pretty based, by the way. I've seen some of the other posts that he's been making, and I'm like, oh, this guy knows what's going on. Charlie Flanagan comes out with this here, Ministry of Justice from the UK. I found the number here to be quite interesting as well too. Make it that what you will. Mrs. Doubtfire's with violent offences will no longer be held in mainstream women's prisons. Charlie Flanagan goes, this is a good decision. I've asked the Irish government to adopt a similar practice in Irish prisons. You telling me that that's not the case already? It's out there. It's absolutely out there. That's unbelievable. But this is the clown world that you're living in right now. It's absolutely unreal. Dr. Shaw Jacobs. Why is this person going to be important when I'm going to show you now in a moment? Associate Professor of Biology at UOFG, Education and Biometics. Addicted collaborator, just-in-time thinker. Settler, Datem. ENFRSP, Education, Gulf, Ontario. ShoshAnnaJacobs.ca. What is this person up to? This is what she's up to here. Now, as I said to you before, the hair color is always a big one. And then look at this here. Look at the eyes. Guys. These people going around. I've seen Alex Stein out as well too recently. He's gone around like baying. To me, he should have been gone around with the baying voice. Why are you not wearing your face mask? Oh, you think darkness is your ally? I was born in it. Anyway, going on this one, almost 3 years negative. Here's what's in my kit. The mask, spray before and after each flight, small HEPA filter, distancing. Shocking, isn't it? And like I said, it's the same type of people all the time. So anyway, moving on to this here. Councillor Karen Power. Now, yours truly was blocked by this councillor after this. This is going to show you how fragile these people are. Catholic primary school managers say their pupils should not be taught what it means to be Mrs. Doubtfire in a strongly worded letter sent to government ministers. 4 likes on that one there. I got more likes on my image there before I was unceremoniously blocked by this individual. But these people, all zero energy there for the Muslim Council. They're like, pretend that's not happening there, guys. At all. Happy to bash the Catholic Church because that's what they've been at for the last number of years, to try and make it have no credibility so that they could do what they are doing. She says, and this is why we need religious management out of our schools. And I said, wrong. You're wrong. So, to me, you're seeing these people start to panic. They're like, oh, and the attack on religion now and the fact that they're openly doing that is really clear and obvious to see now, and that's why the Enoch Broke stuff is still rumbling on and why they don't want it to be given any more airtime. It's all linked. This ended up getting more likes eventually. Then you've got this guy, this Nadim character here, blocked me then soon after as well because I was like, go back home, get out of my country. 49 likes, 730 views, 50 likes, 30.4k views. So this is a fella that has come over here from somewhere, I don't know what country it is, but certainly it's possibly in and around India. Someone was saying he's from Mumbai. Now again, that allegedly, respectively. But this fella's on his video going, Mr. Radgaradkar, I am here and I have nowhere to live. I have nowhere to do. I have nowhere to go. Go home. Get out. Move yourself on. There's people that are out there, that are Irish people, that are natives, that are more deserving of housing than you are and you ever will be. Get out. How did you get into the place is the first thing. And not only that then, why are you still here? Why have you not been sent on your merry way? This fella's at the been knocking around all sorts of different places. He was doing a hunger strike as well not too long ago. I was seeing he's at the putting the pounds back on. He's clearly eating enough. But he's out there geeking out of him, saying, I need your house. Go back to where you came from. Okay, because ain't nobody from Ireland rocking over to India saying, give us a free gaff there, lads. Give us the gaff. And if you don't give me the gaff, I'm gonna go on hunger strike. You'd be laughed out of the place. It's shocking. But this is the sentiment that has been shared amongst most people, and this is not manufactured. This is just a natural flow of people going, yeah, I like that here, and over 30,000 are like, 50 people are like, yeah, I'm all for that there. Interesting times. Interesting times. You've got this here, Roderick O'Gorman. This International Women's Day, the government has announced a referendum on gender equality will be held in November 2023. This is why I'm saying to you, this referendum business is a bad idea. This referendum business is allowing them to try and mess about with the Constitution. This is a significant and timely step towards enshrining equality in the Irish Constitution. Now, everything that they say, believe the opposite of that. And this is just going to be more and more nonsense. This has 46,000 views, close to 47. 83 likes on it. Varadkar and Fowley tagged in. Look at what Fowley's like there. My God. Like a Bond villain. Honest to God. Look at the cut of her. Anyway, I look at the cut of these two fellas. By the way, a lot more people, a lot more energy from people to say, hang on here for a second. How come we're being led by gay men, first and foremost, and gay men with no kids? And why are they dictating what's going to be happening with the future of this country? That should absolutely not be happening. The Overton window has now shifted. It has now moved that people are saying that. A couple of years ago, people wouldn't have admitted that. They wouldn't admit even that Leo Varadkar's half Indian. Because that's also an important fact. A fella that wanted to commemorate, and why I say he's half Indian as well, into the bargain, wanted to commemorate the RIC, wanted to commemorate the Black and Tans. And the copious amount of other things that this fella has been up to over the years. And then you've got this fella that's after being posing for a picture with Emma and Peter with the second name Tatchell there, and then has been saying other out there things on Twitter, not to mention being a part of the Green Party. The Green Party, I tell you what, the Green Party are a serious threat to democracy here in this country and are a serious threat to future generations. Look at the goofballs that they have leading the line for them. Look at the goofballs that they're putting out there. Roderick, Eamon Ryan, Hazel. Seriously. These are the people that are the front-line people of the Green Party. They're all out there. Catherine Martin, introducing the Ministry of Truth here in this country. Like, the Green Party, I'm telling you now, the fact that the Burks were treated like they were in court today, I'm going to keep hammering the home and I keep saying it. And these people are out here pontificating and saying things like this is beyond me. And that is why day by day, when you're seeing the Gardaí coming out and saying we're having a problem with money and we need more support, the people are going, no. Because they're looking at this going, so why would we support you? You've been on the wrong side of history countless times at this stage, and why would we do that? And I'm a person, as I said before, I want to support the Gardaí. I want to make sure that they're going to do the jobs correctly and they're going to do jobs for the people. But you keep seeing these people do things like this. We're going to change the Constitution. Leave the Constitution alone. You've got this fella here in the middle that's saying that he wants to sidestep the Constitution when it comes to housing. A problem that these people have created. They have created this problem. And then they're telling you, I will sidestep the Constitution. Because I'll tell you why. They're starting with small things. This is what they do all the time. We'll start it with something small. And then inevitably it will be, I tell you what, that Constitution, don't be mind that at all. I'll tell you what, we'll make up a new one. And not only would they make up a new one, but they alter the current one so much so that it's unrecognizable and it's totally at odds with reality. And look who's leading the line. 3 complete goofs. 3 complete goofs. This woman here is dressed like Dr. Evil from the Austin Powers movies. With a haircut there that people are looking at and going, oh my God. These people all have weird haircuts, weird outfits, and behave and say weird and strange things. Lizards. That word gets thrown around an awful lot. But listen to me when I say this. You've got 2 fellas here that are leading the line that have no future in terms of producing a future and future generations. And to them, it's all about money. It's all about power. For you, it's not. And it shouldn't be. For the Irish people. But the fact that they're trying to go at this stuff the way they are, and you know as well as I do, when they're trying to make it about to be one thing, they're trying to make it about something else. And they will try and probably slip in this housing referendum in the same thing as well. Keep an eye on it. This is something that you need to talk about right now. And you need to put people wide to it now, because when the time comes around and these people then start to make the sounds that they're going to make at the time, you've got to be aware of it. And this is what I'm saying to you as well. Would you trust any of these people to hold this and actually listen to the actual will of the people? I would highly doubt it. Highly. Here you go. Here, this is Brennan's Bread, sponsored with a Brennan's orange jumper. What could be more Irish? Look, no further comment on that one. No further comments needed. Imagine rocking over to the likes of Nigeria and being like, what could be more Nigerian? And you've got a fella there that looks like Paddy Holohan standing there in an ad in some sort of African garb, and he's doing a dance or something like that. It would not happen. They've actually, in fact, they've banned foreign models and foreign voiceover artists in Nigeria. That's what they've done. So let's keep going here now. It's a video that I'm working on. This is one of the ones, the stuff that I said to Van Squire is unbelievable. Primary school students to learn less religion and will have mandatory foreign languages, desperate to remove Catholicism so they can replace it with the global stuff, as you know. You've got the Gardaí there in the old high heels. I said about that stuff there. You've got, this is one that I wanted to get in on. Sometimes I post things twice and I forget. Ireland's excess mortality rate, 4th highest in EU. The data reveals there were 25.4% more passing in the Republic of Ireland in December compared to the average number of deaths. So there you go, guys. It's not good. Funerals delayed as increase in numbers of deaths puts mortuaries under pressure. Calls for full investigation as Irish passing rate spikes. It's very, very serious. There's been a significant increase in passings this year, according to an RIP.ie analysis. That's from Michael Staines. This is one of the other individuals that should be held accountable for what he was up to. And by the way, before January, you were called a terrorist if you were pointing this out. Many people out there were doing it. For example, the Irish Git as well too was doing videos, and other people like Philip Dwyer and the Irish Inquiry, Dave Cullen and Satirical Soldier are bringing people's attention to that, about these figures, and these people are trying to call people terrorists, and now they actually have to report on it because they're like, oh, it looks like people are getting wide to this. I had someone actually message me not too long ago, and they were like, a fella that they know in a rural, well, I should say a county outside of Dublin, in a rural area, and they said that this person loved going to funerals and has been remarking about how many funerals he's been going to. He's like, I've never seen anything like it for my life. Doubtfires exist. Taoiseach backs teaching of Doubtfire issues after primary schools voice opposition. So everyone has said, no, we don't want this. And this goof is like, no, like, we should actually be talking about Mrs. Doubtfire and Doubtfire issues, no problem. Like, you know, this is what we should do. Listen, you don't speak for the majority of the people here. And the fact that you're in there in the 5th count and how you're actually holding a position like you are after being under criminal investigation is beyond most of the population. And people have to look at that also. And then they look at this here, this normalization of nuts. Literally. So, Taoiseach Leo Varadkar says parents should have the right to opt out. No, they should be listening to what the parents are saying, which is no. Body representing 89% of primary schools challenges views of the Children's Minister, Roderick O'Gorman. So this is the beginning of it, guys. The church, and as you've seen there, the Muslim Council are starting to find their feet and their voice, particularly the Catholic Church. And I have to say, to be honest with you when I say this, I was impressed with them. the fact that they came out first and they were the first to go, nah, this is bang out of order, because that has now galvanized a lot of people, and it will do. The best thing that anyone can be out there now is a base priest. That's what the best thing you can do is be a base priest, because you'll get more people on side and you will start to get more people back for sure. Because people are starting to look at the ways that they have been carrying on for the last few years, and they're starting to look back and say, do you know what, actually, as a matter of fact, I don't think that's the way to go about it. We've tried this whole thing of live and let live, not worked. Tell you what, everything wasn't like this 30, 40 years ago. Back to that there. That's the way to go. This is definitely a video. Artist Strength launches today. This project was brought together by Emily Quinn Photography on Instagram. It's a compilation of photographs and vids taken to celebrate historical Irish women figures by modern Irish women in today's time. I celebrate Anne Devlin and myself. You know, it's like Edgar Davids standing there now with the two dogs. Modern Irish woman. This is where they're going, guys. I'm telling you. It's out there and it's in your face. You've got this here. There's a video coming on this. I know what you were thinking, as I said in the video, just to kind of summarize about how the video is coming along. I know what you will think as soon as you see this image, and it's one of a feeling of anger and upset. But the best thing you can do, rather than, you know, typing a comment of anger, is taking this picture and sending it around to as many people as you know. There's an individual that has obviously just come to the country in the last number of years, because, as we know, these people weren't in abundance beforehand, but have now become in abundance of late, and are behaving like this, and are saying and are acting like this in opposition to native people in our own country. Send this to a lot of people, because I tell you what, that'll wake people up much quicker than anything else. That picture will wake people up. Now, not people that are on the left. They ain't going to be looking at this and giving you any sort of adulation or anything like that for that. Normies, people on the fence, people that are like, I don't know. See what they think about that. Because here's the thing, let them know. What do you think about this? Do you think that this person is accurate? Do you think that this goof here laughing, this Bernie Mac looking individual, this Lenny Henry looking individual that's wearing Western clothing, by the way, you know? I don't like to white people. It's funny that you're not wearing any of your African garb there, are you? You know? So, to me, you got to look at situations like this, and this is a gift. And people will say, oh, what do you mean it's a gift? It's a gift because look at all the goofs that are around there and the goofy things that they're doing. This is great. This is great material to send out to as many people as possible and be like, look what they're at. They're actively telling natives in their own country that they're this. Oh, bad idea. Bad idea. What would happen if you went to the country of origin of this person and decided to have a different sign that read a different colour here, and you decide to say that? Don't think you'd be hanging around that place very long. And that's why intolerance now is starting to become back here in this country. For years and years and years, they did it in America and said, you can't be intolerant, you can't do this, you can't do that. And people are going, stop the lights there, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to listen to that anymore, and I'm going to just be more intolerant than ever. I mean, I say intolerant, I mean respectfully and peacefully, of course. And I always would advocate that. But now people are starting to go, no, I haven't. I've started to see it, by the way, in shops. I've seen people in action where there's someone standing behind the till and they're talking in a different language, and the fellas stand there going, oi, yeah, come here. Yeah, you aren't supposed to be doing that. Talk properly, like we do. And I know people, and here's the thing, by the way, this is the difference between people in different parts of the globe. Australians don't take any messing. You either speak like an Australian, or they tell you what they think of you. There's an assimilation, or if you decide not to assimilate, they're going to tell you where to go. it's this idea of trying to get through a conversation with a person with broken English or English that is absolutely awful, and then this person decides to turn and say in a different language. That ain't happening. That ain't happening in Australia. Oh, I did that earlier on. Look at this here. Look at this, lad. I mean, you know, I don't think I have to add a further comment there really on that one. I really don't. You know what you think about that, and I certainly do. So before I jump into this video here, because that one is the humdinger of all, I'll try and get into the Eileen Flynn video now in a few moments as well too. I think we chopped her up on this one here. Hang on, lads, quick speak. What you're about to see here is a Freudian slip. When you see this one, this is fascinating. Just going to make sure that. So let's just watch that again.
We're starting to see the beginning of that in a Garda Síochána, but we can turn that around, and that's what's happening with the funding provided this year to try and get those extra Garda into the country as well, into the force.
Into the country. So into the country, super clear about what these people want to do. And to me, again, like I said, they're very obvious and upfront about it. And that is an accident that has been made. But you had the Ordinal not too long ago. That was the one that was debunking of people. No, they're not sending people over here to be joining the likes of Defence Forces. Did you see the reason that the Defence Forces? I know Satirical Soldier had it up as well. I'm sure he'd be doing a video on it. At the very tail end of it there, they do a bit of an ad, and there's a black lad there standing in the Defence Forces uniform. It's like, whoa. Now, what they'll do is they start doing that with the Gardaí. They did it with An Post as well. They had a St. Patrick's Day post. I think I might have it down below. I'm not sure if I do. But in the post, what they did was, I don't think I have it here, but An Post put it out and they were like, celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And there's a black lad. And I mean, nothing wrong with pointing that out. But here's the thing. These people are actively doing that with the media, and soon you'll see videos and adverts for Gardaí, and you'll see similar people in those adverts. I'm guaranteeing you this. This is an absolute banger, I have to say. This is brilliant to see.
Here in County Westmeath.
This has been the talk of the town now, and been the talk of Ireland. The media, right, okay. Just to put this out there for anyone that's looking at this outside of the country. People in the media have been shrieking about the snow for the last, 24 hours. They've been like, oh my God, guys, snow. The country that is forever and permanently underprepared for snow for a particular reason. I'll tell you like this. The reason why they're underprepared for snow in this country, and it has been the way for decades, is so that people don't have to go to work the following day. In different countries that regularly have snow, they're prepared for it and they deal with it, and everything goes running smoothly. Ireland has now played in to this whole weather issue, and they're like, oh my God, guys, it's snow. Now, this is the way the media are behaving. They're behaving in a way of like, oh my God, guys, look at the weather. Can you remember what it was like to be a child when you were out there and you seen snow? You couldn't wait to get out there and throw snowballs around and make a snowman. The best of times you would have had. And still do an awful lot of people are out there, you know, plenty of adults that like to go out and build snowmen and have laughs and have snowball fights. But these people are trying to paint it into, oh my God, it's so negative. Yeah. Did you not say that the world was heating up? We did. It's March. So what's the story? How come things aren't warm right now? Well, that's not going there either. We stopped saying it was warm in the world. We're now saying it's just changing all the time. Oh yeah. Well, you know, it seems like from the last number of years, and in particular decades worth of notes, that it seems to happen in around the same time, and at least once a year anyway. And you're perpetually shocked every year. It's very funny. But that's not what happened here. What happened here was this individual, this guy, saw an opportunity, and this is very akin to the opportunity that happened not too long ago when the government and the media were falling in on the likes of the masks and the discrimination QR codes is what I would say in this country, and someone was roaring in the background, the media is the virus, RTA is the virus, and they had to cut away real quick. This has landed with so many people over the last 24 hours. It's incredible. I've been sent this and been told about this by copious amounts of people, and everyone's talking about it. That's a good thing. And the fact that they cut away from it rather than refuting any of the claims or anything like that, and the look of shock on it. This is a media company that has been unchallenged for a very long time. They're unchallenged even in their own YouTube comments. They have over 100,000 subscribers and they leave the comments off in all of their videos. I don't do that. I have way less. I'm closing in. I'd say I'm about 800 maybe away from 6,000 subscribers. I've seen a dramatic increase over the last month or so, and thank you for that. But this is a company with over 100,000 subscribers, and they're afraid to turn the comments on. A lot of the tweets that they put out there as well too, also limited comments as well. The quotes they can't get away from though, and quotes always are negative towards them. But here's what happened last night.
many other counties across the Midlands and indeed the North East. The counties under that status orange warning, counties Cavan, Monaghan, Louth, Meath, Donegal, Clare, all of Connacht, Westmeath and Longford. Here in Mullingar for the last hour or so, the snow has really been coming down. It's also been coming down in parts of Longford and in Tullamore in County Offaly. Overnight, we're expecting more significant snowfall that will be coupled with severe frost. It will affect driving conditions tomorrow. Public transport may be disrupted and schools.
What a video to stop and pause on there. The face there. Oh, and this is the same one that they cut back into the studio as well too when your man was shouting about it being a virus. But how effective that is, because there's lots of people out there that buy into it and watch the news and stuff like that, have seen that and have heard that and they're like, what's that about there? Hang on. And that's where you come into play. You come in and start telling them about what's going on. You tell them about your man Peter, that your man was putting things out. You show them all this sort of stuff. You show them the facts and the figures. Tell them about what's going on. Tell them about what's happening at the moment. And they start then to see a picture that's been put in front of them. Now, what has the media gone and done in the last 24 hours? They've commended the reporter. Fair play to you for staying on script. It's very difficult and what an awful, awful man. That's all you got to say. That's really interesting, isn't it? Because here's the thing, guys, and I'm not going to support or endorse, and I'm not suggesting anybody should do it. In fact, I disavow. But what is a cause and effect of what the media have been doing for the last few years? And I said it even last year when the whole thing came out with your man saying about the virus. You're going to see more people now seeing these people start up with live broadcast and coming in and saying what they think. You're going to see more of that. It's going to be more of a cause and effect now because you've decided to not give people, particularly the media, a balanced view of a situation. You're going to see more people say, okay, we're going to have a conversation with you when we see it. I mean, Philip Dwyer has been one of the best that has done that in terms of going in and has questioned these crews when they are there. The Irish Inquiry, Stephen Kerr, has been wonderful as well at that also. I mean, you just have to look at the videos that these guys are putting out and the lack of response from these media personalities. And I mean, Philip says it himself. These people should be able to easily put him away with facts, figures, and whatever they are. They never do. They just stay silent. They look at them. They're in the headlights. No script in front of them. You see, this woman stuck to the script, and that's why it's more of a jarring video, because she just continued with the script. The NPC. The script says this, rather than what's going on around me. And of course, cut away then. Absolutely brilliant. That's a hilarious video. The face your woman at the end makes it for me. I'll have to say, I'll be honest with you on that one. Let's keep going here. I think that was the last one. Scott Adams is becoming... Let's have a look at this one. Man nabbed for Bronx allegedly said she deserved it for that. You've got this here. A look at the 32 suspects authorities call the worst of the worst criminals in Chattanooga. You know, that's Scott Adams there as well. I don't know if there's a correlation or anything like that amongst any of these things here. Trio guilty of federal crimes for days-long kidnapping that terrorized elderly Florida couple. Scott Adams there as well. I'll tell you, the laws have been 90 on this one. You've got this here as well. You've got Mark Dice. This fella is fantastic. He says the kinds of individuals who used to be relegated to guest spots on the Jerry Springer show are now teaching elementary school children and posting videos on TikTok about how they enjoy talking about this and this with their students. How have they not been run out of the town by the parents? How has there not been a mass, why are they not thrown in prisons and institutions? Actually, the individuals on the Jerry Springer show in the 90s weren't even this bad. None of them even said they were this here or are made of 57 different... America today makes this place seem like it was inhabited with Puritans in comparison. Stop. This is actually another one, another good one. The less religion there is in the world, the more rational and intelligent people become. It's good religion is declining. Pregnant man. Yeah, seeing more and more videos like thousands about those high school ones. Students protest after Bertie Ahern receives DCU award. So, of course, they were scolded by the media. How awful of you to interrupt this man that was finance minister and hadn't got a bank account, allegedly, speculatively. and is not ruling himself out from being the president of Ireland. Should actually be in jail, in my view. Let's keep going here and see if there's 62 Irish redundancies as PayPal to close Dundalk office. The tech sector is taking a smacking. That's what I said there. We've got Eileen in there. Some great memes there with relations to that there. Earlier on, I think I put the video up. Did I put the video of this one up here? And the Kenny on the road to recovery after being diagnosed with the big C. For comments. This happened here in England. Well, not here in England, but it happened over in England. Maths teacher accused of misgendering pupil on religious grounds. Joshua Sutcliffe denies regulators charge of prioritising his convictions over pupils' interests. Trying their best to get base men out of influential positions is what I said. 5,000 subscribers there. No, I didn't put the Eileen Flynn video up, did I not? Hang on, let me have a look here. That was a funny one. I did not put it up there, did I not? Let's just check here. Yeah, no, I didn't. That's a shame. That's a shame. Anyway, he's outside the video, I'd say. If you didn't, have a look at it. But you've got a woman that's in there that's absolutely over depth. Should nowhere be near the position of senator. Can't string a sentence together, and there you go, 70 odd grand. Why I highlighted this person in that video is for that very reason. If you're out there and you think that you're not someone that is a good speaker, or if you don't think you're eloquent enough or anything like that, this person shows you that you absolutely are. You can 100% be a TD or indeed a senator, because if this person can do it, anyone can do it. And that's why I wanted to put that video out, because I felt that was important to show people, listen, if this individual is able to earn 70,000 and not be able to string a sentence together, listen, you need to get in there and you need to do something about that. There's an old phrase, I'm going to paraphrase it there, that the likes of society will become so bad that the people with low IQ will be the ones that are trying to silence the people with high IQs, and it will be a lesser civilization for that very reason, dumbing it down. That's why you see likes of TikTok. That's why that has grown exponentially. Now something that is a 10-second video to take away people's attention spans. I mean, there's people that are listening here, obviously the 2 hours, they appreciate that. Fair play to you. But what is something that they're trying to do is that they're trying to actively take people's attention span and make them lesser. And that's why you're seeing a lot of these articles come out. And that's why they're hoping, for example, even when it comes to the sniffles, I just forget about that. We'll just have copious amounts of distractions to distract you from that. Now, I'm always going to go back to that and what you said and how you should be accountable for that. That's just where I am at. So, guys, that's the conversation part of this over. I really appreciate you coming in here, listening to me here on a Friday night. Very much I appreciate it. I'm going to jump into the comments now. I'll be back here again next Friday, 7:30 Irish time, as always. Thanks very much for being here. I really appreciate that. More videos coming during the week. I'm going to be dropping them, hopefully one tomorrow, one Sunday, and then obviously throughout the week as well. I've got a few topics that are coming up, and I'm looking forward to be talking about them here on the channel. Thanks very much for making it what it is. This channel wouldn't be what it is without you out there listening, and thank you again for being here. I can't say that enough. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to the members. Thank you to everybody that's in here and that does what they do. Very much I appreciate it. I'm going to jump into the comments now. So Toby says, at Ninja, they're wasting their lives listening to people they dislike. Oh, for sure. 100%. But here's the thing. I've seen, what was it there during the week? There was 2 lads that were doing a podcast. Can't think of who it was off the top of my head. Someone in the chat let me know. And they had out Mark. Mark was reporting on it. It was like 2 hours worth and found one comment that Mark didn't like and 1 like on his post. They're dwindling. The power for these people is dwindling. And what's happening is there's a vacuum now being created, and that's what needs to be taken by patriots and nationalists. Fergus Power says, Ninja Knight living rent-free in our empty heads, brother. Glorious. 100%. Absolutely. Part of a 101 says South African woo. Lucky. So, yeah, we're going to be doing a video on Lucky very soon. I'm going to get a video done on Lucky real soon. And I'm looking forward to that one. I'm actually contemplating playing the whole video. Or maybe doing what I did there the other day, which was pausing the video and responding to it in between. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments or even in the chat there and see what you think would be more better. More better? 2.5 hours nearly in here and going with more better. That's because Matt's been talking about oil in, not losing IQ points talking about oil in. But let me know what you think would be a better listen. Would it be pausing it and responding, or would it be playing it out and then having my opinion after the fact? Let me know. Sheepdog says, "Feck's sake, Ninja Knight in the stream chatting and didn't show you gone live, feckers." That's weird, but weird things have been happening here with this channel for a little while. People have been talking about comments and stuff like that as well too. You know that I'm on Rumble, and as I said beforehand, it's probably the best place to be in terms of the streams. The streams, as far as I know, got uploaded there anyway. So if you have a comment or anything like that, drop it over there. I'll always respond to the comments that are there, of course, and you can have your say when it comes to these things. So let's keep going now through the chat and let's see what's been said. Just give me a moment there, guys. So you've got George Stories in there. He knows what's going on there. He's talking about ages and certain things going on there. Owen Kinsler says, like to see Maliki Stenson run. Anybody, to be honest with you, I think that you need a strong foundation of being a patriot and nationalist, and I think that's going to go with a lot of what people are thinking. Elena says, Ninja, do you think Hannah McEntee will retire from politics? High possibility, I'd say. There doesn't seem to be much about her now in recent times. She was put where she was for a reason, and then since then has just moved on, and there's no chatter about her now much at all. But people aren't forgetting that. Like, I'm saying it all the time, people will be like, the reason why Ireland is the way it is right now is because of Helen McEntee and Harris. So the both of them are getting the blame, which is good to see. Very good to see. Sean Max says Conor McGregor could be the man to take a punt at the next general election and the leadership of a new Irish nationalist party, or run at the presidency with all his millions behind him. I'm definitely going to do a video on that and see where that video goes, because I think that he is the type of guy that we do need. You know, I think we need someone young and a bit of youth on the side, because you're being told about what's going on with these 50. Now, not to put it in that manner, because I know there's plenty of people out here from different age groups that are listening, but you've got people that are sort of like in the 50s and 60s that have, and I talk to people in those age groups all the time, and a lot of them are just like, I just want to enjoy the rest of my life, and they're like, the gauntlet is with the youth, and I'd agree. And I mean, McGregor is the youth. I don't see a Bertie Ahern or Luke O'Neill. These are guys that are out there like way past it, and to me, if you got a McGregor out there that has already said that he would hold these people accountable, doesn't mind taking goals at the regime, doesn't mind taking goals at some of their regime approved people, I like that. And whatever you might think about his personal life or things that he's done in the past, to me, sure, look, these people have done worse for the last couple of years over the sniffles. That's just my view. Jason Irish Red says, I'm so sorry, Ninja. I've been batting on YouTube, gremlins all throughout. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. I'll be sorry at all. Janie says, peaceful all the way, Ninja. Correct, sir. 100%. And I mean, if anything has been proven over the last couple of days, is that now people are looking at that guy that's been sitting in jail and has been given a 4-year sentence for being around the Capitol in America. They're looking at that now going, that guy didn't do anything. That's far more effective. Way more effective than going out there and doing something silly. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you need to be kept, and why you need to keep it to that respectful and peacefulness. And again, like I said, the respectful and peacefulness makes the movement grow more and more and more, and more people want to go and feel welcome there. That's hugely important. And like I said, provocateurs and people that are saying silly things, they ain't part of the movement for sure. I know people that say, hey, look, you know, and a lot of people want instant gratification and all that, but this is a slow burn. And listen, and I'll tell you this, it feels like a slow burn, but it's happening, to be contradictory, I suppose. It's happening in a quicker way than it would have had before. These people thought they had 70 years of runway. It's been whittled down now to 1. They're all panicked. They're like, oh no, well, we're going to have to start a skirmish across the other side of the world. And now they're after being pointed out by former people running the likes of Israel and Turkey. The two guys that are there, they're like, hey, we tried to sort this out, and Boris and Jaman there, Joe, they said no. They're after being put out. So very interesting, that one. And by the way, the Turkey thing, a lot of people have been talking about the ambassadors that were brought out of the country nearly as a day before, was it maybe, from what happened there? No coincidence in my view. Hugh says, is Gab not up to OTT religious people getting... No, absolutely not. It's all good over there. Gab is very good over there. Nobody has any issues there at all. Not avoiding at all. Everything's cool. Some good people over there. All good people over there. You don't get any messing from weirdos or anything like that. Fernando Murku sent 5 super sticker. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. Keep going through the chat there. Opposition, Kim Griffin's talking about the opposition and the the brownies for sure. No, true the chat. Eric Cooney says, Ninja, all the older generation that needs to see what's really happening, the way it's been run. I do show my older neighbours that what's really happening on YouTube. I suggest you should also to change votes. Yeah, absolutely. Now, look, I do it as much as I can when I'm talking to people and say to them what's going on. And a lot of them are waking up to it, for sure, you know. Seen a lot of people now talking about politicians. I was talking about that with a couple of different people, and they've been talking about what politicians are doing now, and that's dropping leaflets in. They're not even knocking on the doors anymore. That's very telling that politicians are doing that, and they're just trying to scare it away then and trying to drop absolute junk into your post box and hope that they're not going to be questioned or anyone going to have any sort of problems with them. They're all aware of this, by the way. They're aware that if they knock on the door, people are going to have issues with them and they don't want to listen to that, you know. So it's important to note that, and it's important to remember that. Eric Powers Ninja Night went on Gab in January 2021, met some absolutely wonderful American pages. I'm not on as much anymore because of everything going on, but Robert's Business, Free Speech, great place. I didn't know you're on there. Make sure you're following me over there. I don't know if you are, but do. You know. Keep down here now through the chat. Janie's in here. It says Ninja Law, 8:22. I'm a little bit behind. I'm about 2 hours behind here. About 2 hours behind. So Trigger Soldiers in the chat. You're lighting her up. Love to see it. Hold on and see what's going on. Big Sarah says Ninja Night, great idea. Get free accommodation and food and utilities, and on top can work and continue to live free. The government wouldn't provide for our children with free accommodation. Yeah, absolutely. And that's it. Like people coming in here, oh yeah, no documents. That's grand, lads. You can walk away there. What? That's absolutely shocking. That's a huge one. That whole thing going on there is unreal. I'll let you know everything that you need to know about this place. George Doherty says 2 litre Coke now 1.5 litre. Yeah, the Coca-Cola as well too, dropping them down. And then if you've noticed as well, also the sizes of different things that you would buy beforehand, you know, it might be even like a pack of donuts used to be 6 donuts, now 5. You might, again, buy something and it might have had, say, cream eggs. There might have been 6 in them. There's now 5. Getting less, but you're paying the same. These things are all being noticed, but a lot of them as well are happening at the same time where these companies are going, oh, woe is to me, and then are just undercutting it anyway, but keeping their profits high. Shocking. OH's Ninja Night, the groups need to get together, some group organisers slagging off others. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you on that one. I do. Sure, on that one, I agree with you. And that's something that people need to do for sure. Like, I'm seeing a little bit of it now with the Irish Freedom Party and the National Party, where there's a bit of tit for tat there. They should be getting together and saying, look, here's an area we can win, here's an area you can win, and everything's hunky-dory. Are we going to wholeheartedly agree on everything? No, but it's important to make sure that these leftists aren't going to win and aren't going to keep control of the steering wheel, which they have done for a very, very long time. Janie, it's your channel, Ninja, do you? My man says, F. Gary Lineker, he's a multi-millionaire living in mansions in areas that are 99.9% white, but he wants to open the floodgates to fake UGs so they can destroy working class areas. 100%. Letitia Logan says Philip Dwyer should run for a place. Definitely for sure. I do fully believe that. Fergus Power says Ninja Night Ingeborg for Minister for Education. That'd be a good one. You know what the story is there. Sean Mack says Colin Farrell was rolled out in 2015 on the Late Late Show telling people to vote yes for the marriage referendum as his brother is gay. No shock there, one. Wouldn't be shocked to see him back again. You know, they need to go to people that are liked in the country. Christy Moore. I got a lot of comments on that video, on that Christy Moore video. People are like, I'm binning the CDs as we speak. And I'm like, whoa. George Doherty says Conor McGregor's been spoken about as a candidate for next president. I'd vote for him. Stephen says, the scam I had before Ninja Night hat. No way. Oh, stop. Oxygen Advocate says, is Conor McGregor a patriot? Yeah, he is for sure. He has talked about the people of East Wall in a way on Twitter, and I don't know. I think he needs to go all out. If I'm him, I know. Look, he's a multimillionaire, and the fact is he's overdoing the Ultimate Fighter now as well, so the attention is somewhere else. But for sure, it's someone's attention that needs to be caught and needs to get behind the movement for sure. You know, Letitia Logan says Ninja likes good looking women. 100%, absolutely. People talking about Norma's hair. Another people's hair then as well too. So Circus Soldier says, in my view, the media are just a government mouthpiece in Ninja Night. Absolutely, couldn't have said it better. You're absolutely spot on there. You're absolutely spot on. I'm watching 1923. I don't know if anybody else is saying that. I've found that that's probably one of the more decent shows that are out there. Like, shows the bureaucracy that started in and around that time. That's why I think it's really, really a good idea. But to me, it's interesting to watch 1883, where it's the Wild West, pure Wild West, and then you see 1923 and you see this bureaucracy. Like, even when they're talking about, in a recent episode, they're talking about the deeds haven't been paid for or something like that. I think it's like a margin, and this guy comes in, he's like, I'm just going to take the land off it. Like, and he's like, oh, in 1883, that wouldn't have happened. So you wouldn't have been walking, you wouldn't be walking to the car and away there from that one. Very fair says, Ninja Knight, Phil Dwyer and his phone have done more for the safety and protection of the children of this country than any college educated Marxist set out rats that get paid to set out their own. Absolutely. He's done a lot. He's done so much. Philip has to go down in history as one of the most influential people ever. Sheepdog says Charlie Flanagan, the gang had the gang had a meltdown on meeting Philip Ninja Night. Oh, arrest him. He's asking me questions. How dare he? Far right, arrest him, Garda, what a melt. Yeah, Charlie wasn't happy at all with Philip when Philip was asking questions. Oh, H says Ninja Night, as someone with autism, I can say the woke autists have comorbid conditions like cluster B personality disorders. Fair play to you. And I got someone else as well too that commented on it as well, that said that we had autism, and they were like, listen, these don't represent us. And that's great to see. You know, something I talked about as well, which was, it's interesting to me, the amount of autism that's around nowadays. Like, to me, when I was growing up, simply didn't exist. And now it's everywhere. Like, I talk to a lot of people all the time. They're like, oh yeah, no, yeah, 100%. And my parents as well didn't exist for them, and grandparents, same thing. And you get people that are on Twitter that are like, oh, they just hid them away. That many people? I highly doubt that. And like, nobody ever seen this sort of stuff, you know? And see, the thing is, movies as well, they wanted to, and just to go on a bit of a tangent here, they wanted to say it was like Rain Man, or like very recently Billy and the Power Rangers, that they're a little bit socially different and that they're geniuses. That's what they wanted to portray in the movies. And in the recent Predator movie, they did the same thing as well. But in the reality of the sense, you see people, and because it's a spectrum, it's very different. You see people that do have very specific abilities. You see people as well, and I have to be honest with you, the people that I know, for example, like with Asperger's, and like that's a part of autism, they don't see the world the same way you and I do, which I find fascinating. I find it fascinating that people that are there that don't do lies, like they see and cut through all the nonsense, and they're like, I'm not interested in this conversation, or what do you think about the weather today? I don't care. You know, I love it. I love that part of it, you know what I mean? But then you see the other people that get like completely fixated. The people that I'm talking about, people that are fixated on this pronoun stuff and are actively screeching about things in the fandom that doesn't represent anything to do with the fandom, and are actively trying to destroy it. Like cultural vandals, as I keep saying. Satirical soldiers, Ninja Knight, and Garda Síochána and Defence Forces have been ideologically captured and subverted. And after spending 21 years in uniform, I can say they are enemies of freedom. This is the thing, people are looking at those uniforms like I did beforehand and was like, well, you know, I had a lot of respect for them beforehand, but now you look at them and you see what they put up with. Like that lady did with the video recently when she was going down to the barracks and she was like, what are you doing? And they're like, go to the press office. No. I asked you what you're doing. Go to the press office. Okay, so you know what you're doing. You're actually helping out people, invaders. Is that right? That's what you're doing. And the same with Gardaí that are hanging around outside, like the City West and these other places as well too. People that have come into the country illegally and are hanging out outside there protecting them. You know what you're doing as well as I do. Greg Powers in here says, "I have to bounce. Good night and God bless you all. Beautiful patriots, Ninja Night. Keep bringing the truth, brother. There's a real hunger for it. We will take back our own destiny for sure." Great work that you're doing as well too, Fergus. Fair play to you. 100% for sure. You are doing wonderful work. Sheepdog says, International Women's Day. Let's get a let's get it out for to expose Ninja Night. Give me strength. Yeah, we had the laws on that one there. You got some of the lefties that are out there like, look at the men. Look at the men on the right. Right. Look at the right guys. They're out there and they're saying about women being in the kitchen on International Women's Day. That's called humour. Having a joke. A lot of women enjoy that. They think it's funny. They're looking at you, not wanting them to be homemakers, and they're like, what do you want us to do? You want us to work all day in a job that we don't want to be in? Nah, I'd rather stay at home and raise the family. That's what I'd rather do. And I was seeing the commentary as well. It was a video. Who was the commentator? Ian Kennedy. And Kennedy says, honestly, it's so backwards to be protesting after the fact. Protests should be at the airports and ports. Seeing the protests that happened at the airport, people were blocking the exit from the airport. That's an interesting one. Obviously, as I keep saying to people, respectfully, peacefully, obviously, I'm not supporting or endorsing that, and I'm disavowing, you know. Jason Irish Red says, Ninja Night mullets are also back with a vengeance. Mullets. Oh, man, the mullet ain't great. I had to be honest with you. It wasn't great there at all. Collect Owens, thank you, Ninja. Fake day, man. Right. Yeah, look, I'm saying there, and that Tyler Sheridan is down. Really sizzling. It's all really, really good. I think they're playing the game as well with this whole Kevin Costner thing. Let's have a look here now through the channel and have it keep going. Hope it's been a good week for people as well. Been a very good week it has overall. Keep going here now. Keisha Logan says the travellers are around people. Yeah, that's actually a very good comment because with the travelling people, they have been, again, to me, they were hooked in with this whole thing of classing them as something different. And that's where this all begins. And I mean, like, they're white people like you and me. So to me, deciding that they're something different, I think that was a terrible idea. And as Barva 1014 saying there, travellers are based without being fed progressivism by the powers that be. For sure. A lot of them as well, too, staunch Christians, which is a good thing. But they're being represented, and I keep saying that the likes of Eileen Flynn ain't a good representative for this person. And, well, I should say, for this group. Now, again, when you say groups as well, it's important to point out the fact that she is representing the group. And I mean, the group are just looking. And again, like I said, 29,000 to 40,000. And people are just looking at it going, is there anyone calling that out? Like, anyone doing that at all? Doesn't seem like it. You know, you look at how eloquent, and again, Tyson Fury is someone I'll always point out. Tyson Fury is fantastic, and he always talks about our Lord and Saviour as well. And he has been talking recently about the problems that Britain has been facing, calling her out. I think it's good to see. And that's what they don't want. They don't want someone that's eloquent, that's a good speaker, that holds a very staunch faith. It was, again, something I noticed as well, very simply, UFC on the weekend, John Jones. What was the first thing that John Jones did when he won? All praise. All praise to our Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ. I loved it. I was like, oh, this is brilliant. It's great to see that. That's excellent. You know, great win. And that's what he says. Love to see it. Jerome Reedy says, Ninja Night, you and Kev need to do a video podcast. You guys are so funny with the truth. It appeals to a lot more people. Thanks very much. Much appreciated, man. Very much appreciated. I'm always on as well, too, for people inviting me on and chatting away to them. I know that Off Grid has been in touch with me as well, and I'm setting up something there as well. I think they're coming back. Are they on? I think they were on YouTube, and they have to just hang on there for a little bit before they come back on. So to me, that'd be a good one. I'm looking forward to talking to them. We're talking about going on Telegram, but I don't have Telegram, so I won't be doing anything on that. JD says, I follow News Night a long time. I was just busy on Instagram. Instagram's hilarious. Paulo Neil says, another gathering tomorrow, 2 o'clock at the Garden of Remembrance. Irish communities together, ICT. Hope to see as many there as possible. Enough is enough. Yeah, Sean Mack, you're right there. They want the Garda and Army fitness to be lower so they can get more SJWs and size into the uniform, for sure. Jamie says, Ninja, you make me smile, good lad. Much appreciated. I always like to give people a bit of a laugh. Peter Madden, independent TD candidate, says Paul O'Neill. The assembly is at the GPO at 2 p.m. tomorrow, Paul, not the Garden of Remembrance. So GPO tomorrow, 2 p.m. That's where the people are going. I saw Philip's latest stream as well. That was an excellent one that he did. I know that he hasn't been on YouTube since the one that happened in town, but I think it's great to see all these live streams keeping going because this stuff is still rocking on. And actually, I've seen some of the events as well too, recording on the same day, which is real interesting there. The Life broadcast says Ninja Night, Carrick McCross taking a stand, peaceful assembly, Saturday 11th of March, 2 p.m. Make our streets safe again, protect our children. Great to see that. Great to see this stuff happen across the country. Really, really heartwarming stuff. Very heartwarming. Sugar Lump says RT got a great reception reporting on the weather last night at Mullingar. Yeah, Mullingar, a good one. We did that earlier on. Very funny. Pat Boland says Ninja gone for a jog, but defence his speak truths. Earl Callahan says Ninja Night, how are we all doing tonight? I'm a bit behind the stream. Class stream is always Pat. Check Gabma for a potential video. Much appreciated. We'll do. Much appreciated, and we'll do on that one. We'll do, of course. Chat is flying. Every week this chat gets bigger, it does, and it takes me longer to get through it. What a brilliant complaint. And it's not even a complaint. It's an appreciation, I should say, for the people that are in here that are adding so many comments. I wish I could read them all, but I'd be here all night. I don't think anybody wants to do that. Reading comments all night. Need to keep people entertained. Fantastic comments that I'm seeing here because I'd always see them and I always kind of skim through them as well. I'm not sure if there's a live chat playback. I'm not really sure about that one. If there is, that's always a good one to look at as well. I always enjoy looking through those and see what people are saying. That are awake to what's going on here in this country. Mumbai, people are saying there. Yeah, they're talking about your man. Yeah, we've got a lot of people talking about Mumbai. I'll have to clarify where your man's from. Your man Nadeem. Imagine rocking over to a country and be like, give me a free gaff. No. Are you going to work for it? No. Okay. No free house. Irish Red says Ninja Night at one stage there was nobody more Irish than Barack Obama. I remember that. I remember when they brought him over here and they were like, Barack there, you know, he's a bit of an Irish descendant. And now Joe was running around saying he's Irish descent. I'm like, oh, all of these people that keep coming over and keep saying they're of Irish descent keep being up to things. It's not good. But in saying that, you look at some of the other people that are around the place and you're like, the Irish are, a lot of them that are around are involved in sorts of shenanigans that they shouldn't be in at all. That's why you need to have patriots and nationalists out saying, nah, I'm not having this at all. Vincent Daly says, hi Ninja, do you think anything will come out like the Hancock messages? People here are still brainwashed. I do think it's coming. The thing about Ireland and some of these people as well in these places is they're slippery and they're sneaky. Like Ireland and the politicians, well, I should say more so the politicians, they're just sneaky. They're sneakier than the Brits. The Brits, when something happens, they get caught and they're in trouble. Here, it's sneaky and it's like an after the fact thing, and they try and, like the likes of committees and all that, they're mad for a committee here they are in this country. Like the way they have Neffet, that is a great get out of jail card for them. They think because they're able to say, oh, well, that was the group, you know what I mean? Like the large majority of them said that there. Well, hang on here, there was a couple of dissenting voices, is there? You know, and to me, there will be something eventually because when the heat's on, the difference between here though and the UK is the heat is really on them in the UK, and there's people making careers and books out of that. Here in Ireland, though, it's a smaller country, as you know, which is quite obvious, but also as well, these people want to stay in the same circles. I mean, imagine the amount of stuff that certain people know about different politicians here, and none of them seem interested in saying anything, you know? Something else. But I do think it will end up happening here. Something has to give. And I mean, it's like, I often talked about my outfit. Like, my outfit used to say to me, Jordan, the height of all of this, he's like, I don't know how Micheál Martin goes home, or any of these politicians for that matter. He says, with kids, he says that they're impeding their lives. And he says, and how the families don't look at them and say, like, what are you doing? There has to be people out there, And surely there's someone out there, and the more people question them, and again, when it comes to positions, seats, these people are keenly aware that seats are what keeps them where they are and keeps the money coming in from them. And to me, if they think that that's in jeopardy, potentially with people that want the truth, they're going to start trying to say it then. But it does need more and more people to be talking about people at large that have been up to things like they've been up to for the last few years. Keep having a look through the chat there. CSC says great infectious laughing, ninja. I got a lot of Ninja Knight says Ninja Red says Ninja Knight, that clip is pure gold. A lot of people enjoy and have a laugh at these individuals. I enjoy it too. Jason Knight Red says Ninja Knight, we had the beast from the east a few years back. Now we're dealing with a different kind of beast from the east. 100%. Kieran Griffin says Mark Dice is the only respectable pundit on the right in the States. Yeah, I like him. I really like him. And he calls everything out like he's really, really clear about that. I like him and Salty. Salty is excellent. Really like Salty. He gives me a good laugh. Jan Cordy says, folks, I'm heading off. Thanks to all you for being here tonight. Yeah, what Ninja at night, August got dinner. Hopefully I'll make town at 2 tomorrow. GPR. Have a great weekend. God bless. Keep going here now and see what's going on. Yeah, people talking about Ireland there and how she got a seat. Yeah, was actually nominated by Micheál Martin. Interesting that, isn't it? So didn't get enough votes to get the seat that she got, but was voted in. Well, not voted in. Nominated by Micheál Martin. Derek Man says, like, share, and subscribe, please, folks. Appreciate it on that one, Derek. Doing silver stuff as usual. Shout Potato says, appreciate you so much, Ninja. Chinese says, thank you, Ninja. Thanks, Ninja. From Canada says Robert Murray. Thanks very much. Yeah, Justin Trudeau is not particularly liked here either. I'm sure most Canadians feel the same. Philly D67 says, cheers, Ninja, great show. You. Refuse Nick Sean says, more better. Jimmy Ainscott says, Farmot Ninja. You. Good Margaret. Lena says, Ninja, you're a legend. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. I really appreciate all of these positive comments. Thank you, guys. Sean Max is 100% right, Ninja. Philip Alden says, nice one, Van. Better late than never. God bless you and us. Yeah. God bless everyone. Jerome Reedy says, thank you, moderators and regular visitors. Good show tonight, Ninja Night. Thank you very much. Ninja will post a full link to the RT video when you upload this video. Can't share it on live, says Aidan Fletcher. Okay. Thanks for that. Billy Elizabeth says, my Cordy Wardy is 20% skinnier. Now, Marcus says, Jerome Reedy, they do indeed the work ninjas go through to review current news. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. The Yellowstone is the next in that 1883 series, says Jerome Reedy. That's excellent. I really like it. I see a lot of people saying it about Connor in the chat there. He said what he said at the beginning of all of this when they had people conned. After that, though, changed the tune. Just from what I've seen online. keep going here now along this here. Max says loads of based Irish travellers out there. Absolutely, for sure. For sure. Yeah, and a lot of them as well too. Staunch Catholics. You know? And that's something that's very important. And the fact that they've tried to divide those people then from the majority of the nation says an awful lot. And then, like I said, it's disappointing when you see people, like I said, they're eloquent out there and they hold and share the same beliefs and morals and principles as you. And then you've got your woman there that's talking about the hijab. We talk a lot about St. Bridget's Day and all that. And how's the Irish and all that jazz? Like, you're not winning anybody to your side with that sort of stuff there. And you guys in that community should take a very hard look at that and be like, hang on here, guys, now she don't speak for us. Chipmunk says, first time listening to your show, love your videos. We'll be back for more. Your laughing humorous prizes. Thanks very much. I'm just humbled by things like that. Humbled by lovely comments like that. I'm actually caught up with the chat. That's a first. Got it done there. I think that's a 14-minute catch up though. Listen, guys, have a great weekend. Look after yourselves. Thanks very much for being in here. Over 200 people in here tonight. 100 odd still listening now. Much appreciated. Listen to me rambling on. Look after yourselves. Have a good weekend. God bless. Take care. Good luck.